what's going to happen when Cole gets on the ice here. No, he'll be fine. He has been fine. He's very important to this team. He's a great sixth defenseman. He's got a big role on the penalty kill. So it's one of those things. You're thankful that it didn't hurt your team, because he's not the guy who's going to go out and score these goals to get you back in the game. He needs somebody else to get them back for him. You mentioned he had a nice assist or an assist on a goal, but again, he has his values in different areas of the game, and he got a little bit exposed. But like I said, it's one and done, and you look past it. You're thankful that they won, that it didn't cost them the game, and that's what it is.
Well, as far as the net minding goes, Artur Shilov's let in 4 goals last game. It was enough for them to come back and win the game, and there was some question whether he would start tonight. He is getting the start, however. What's your level of confidence in the young netminder, and are you looking at the situation? Would you be surprised if we do see DeSmith at some point in the series?
Not at all. I was surprised, actually, he didn't come in after the 4th one. I thought that would have been a good chance. Give him some shots and then play him in game 2 here to Smith. But again, they came back, and coaches are very superstitious when it comes to not changing their winning lineup. So and again, he has been phenomenal. So maybe it was a one-off, and he comes back and he does what we've seen in the last games against Nashville there. So I have no problem with either one in net, but I'm happy for him that it wasn't that his lease wasn't that short. So again, now he knows that it's okay for me to make a mistake, because he did have a mistake or two in that game, and it did end up in the back of his net, but so did the other goalie. Mm-hmm. And the thing about goalies is, all you want is them to make the save at the right time. Make sure that when the game is on the line, you make this save. Games go to 4-4, and all we need now, we need to make the next save. And he did that. Did he get a ton of shots? No, he didn't, but he didn't give up another one. Gave them a chance to win a game, and by the end of the night, you win 5-4. So again, he does end up giving them a chance to win, and again, that's probably one of the reasons why he isn't pulled either. And like I said, he's been good, so he's earned a little bit.
Yannick, we appreciate the time as always. Thanks for this. Enjoy the game.
Yeah, thank you. Take care.
There is Yannick Hansen, this analyst, brought to you by the Magnuson Auto Group, Metro Ford, Port Coquitlam, and Magnuson Ford in Abbotsford on both sides of the Fraser to serve you. It is Dan Riccio and Satyar Shah. It is the Canucks Central pregame show presented by White Spot. A great game deserves a great meal. Order White Spot takeout during the playoffs and save 20% with code SAVE20. Some exclusions apply. Details at whitespot.ca.
And it looks like, as we mentioned, Draisaitl skating with McDavid and Hyman. They're going to be a trio, and Henrique skating with McLeod and Perry. So it looks like both guys will be indeed back and playing in the game here tonight for Edmonton.
And, of course, for the Vancouver Canucks, Artur Shilov's getting the start in goal. And no lineup changes from their perspective. It is as it was during Game 1 and has been for much of these playoff. Höglander, Pettersson, Mikheyev, Miller with Suter and Besser, Lindholm between Joshua and Garland, Teddy Bluger centering the 4th line with Phil DiGiuseppe and Sam Lafferty on defense. Hughes, Hronek, Susie Myers, Zadorov, Cole with the Artie Party in net. Now, obviously, this becomes a even tougher task to defend the Oilers' top line. McDavid, Draisaitl, and Hyman. What it does tell me, though, is Draisaitl is at much less than 100%.
Yes.
And they feel he would have a hard time carrying his own line as he normally does.
Yeah, and I think you got to be careful, because you've mentioned this a number of times. He was on one leg last year, and he still was one of the best players in the playoffs. He
can still crush you.
So it's now a back injury is different from a leg injury. We'll see how much it prohibits him, if at all, here tonight. And listen, if you get shot up the right way and have the right medication, sometimes those things, you get through it a lot easier too. So I think it does matter a little bit, what's going to happen in that regard. But I do find it interesting to see what we see from Draisaitl here tonight.
Yeah, I think what Yannick mentioned is so very important as far as what it means with Draisaitl, or what to look for with Draisaitl, and how can he defend the way that he needs to.
Yeah.
And how do you sort of maybe hide some of what he can't do defensively, well, put him on the wing with Connor McDavid, and you're probably not going to spend a lot of time having to defend.
Yeah, and especially when you have an aggressive forechecker like Hyman on the wing already. So you already have your retrieval guy, kind of, right? Guy in the dirty areas. So that allows Draisaitl to kind of pick his spots a bit more. Not to say he just floats around, but it allows him to take some pressure off too. And McDavid, we know how much pressure he has, and I think in many ways too, this creates more challenges for Vancouver to slow down McDavid, because now you have to still be aware of Draisaitl. As much as he may be banged up, it's not like you can treat him like a normal player now. It's still Leon Draisaitl. And Leon Draisaitl, one of the more underrated parts of his game is how great a facilitator he is as well. So now one of the things I kind of wonder about,
the look he has to find Ekholm on the Oilers' second goal the other night is brilliant.
Yeah, he's incredible at finding spots, but also in terms of how he can play through the neutral zone, him being an option, they can do a bit of a 1-2 game here a little bit. Do they hit him as a bit of a hold-up point? Then he can dish off to somebody coming with speed. I think this would also create more layers for how to create more speed for Connor McDavid. Maybe not McDavid carrying the puck as much, but in terms of playing off one another a little bit.
So now you look at the rest of the lineup, though, and does this, in a way, put a little bit more focus on, hey, Elias Pettersson needs you to win your lineup now that their lineup is going to be a little bit shorter with them having to load up their top line with McDavid and Draisaitl? How does this affect the Canucks' ability to maybe have more success against the Oilers' bottom six?
So let's say that this is a game McDavid gets going and they score a couple of points or whatever. You're going to need that secondary scoring to come through. And obviously the Pettersson line, and Yannick mentioned they were close. They had a few chances, but they just haven't been able to bear down and finish. Mikheyev could have had a few goals last game himself, right? So they're going to need that line to produce. As good as they've been defensively and as good as Pettersson was closing that game out, ultimately that line needs to be a danger, a threat, and they have to come through in the bottom line.
Yeah, and win your territorial advantage, and then, when McDavid gets out there, he's got to go 200 feet to get into the offensive zone. It's little things that can stack up to help you defend that line. So I think that's important. The other thing we know is Knobloch likes to use, he doesn't view it as, well, I'm going to load it up. He's going to load up with McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, but also have Ekholm and Bouchard, his top D pair, with those guys. So if you're going to have success, you got to have it against probably the other parts of the Oilers lineup, much like they did the other night.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't think you should diminish the Oilers lineup necessarily without McDavid. Not to say that you were, but I mean, you're still looking at a Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on the second line with Warren Foegele and Evander Kane. Right, so it's still like that's not nothing. Henry comes back in the lineup tonight playing with McLeod and Perry and Holloway with Ryan and Yamark on your fourth line. But with Henry coming back, he gives a little bit of a push. So with having Henry back in the lineup, and we'll see what type of condition he's in, but you're talking about a legitimate top six type of guy. And if he's playing on their third line,
20-plus goal scorer, perennial 20-plus goal scorer.
So they are getting some more reinforcements a little bit here, but it really does come down to, if you're not going to crush that top line in Edmonton, which is very challenging, you're right. They're going to need the secondary scoring to come through here tonight.
It's Dan Riccio and Satyar Shah.
What did you see in the text box? Are you laughing at something?
Remember what Messier did to Linden. Mess wanted it more. Willing to do whatever you have to do to win. I think there's people suggesting that the Canucks should play Leon Draisaitl very hard tonight.
Well, I think they should make life very difficult for him, 100%. I think there's a lot of moments where it doesn't matter what goes on. You have to do your absolute best to give him as many shots as possible. And I think if you don't do that, that's where you get into the situation where you're going to let him have a free ride. And yeah, it's not about inflicting stupid damage on somebody taking bad penalties, but if you're not making him pay every time he's out there, then you're really missing a big opportunity.
This text, LJ, hope Draisaitl plays. He'll be a huge target. Another text talking about Zadorov, Big Z, talks trash and backs it up, just like Godzilla. Look it up. That's from LJ. Zadorov has won a lot of people over. He's played incredibly well, and I think the setup of the Canucks D played a big part in their ability to defend McDavid the other night. even when I know Hughes and Hronek had a big part in defending McDavid, but so did Soucy and Myers. And I felt they defended the blue line so well, made it really difficult, as they always do. They take up so much space. So McDavid, he'd wind up and he'd try to do those things where he's a human dumping. He's able to get the entry on his own, right, because of his speed and his ability to shake loose. But often, he'd look up and he'd be like, well, I got nowhere to go. He passes it off. And so now you've kind of got to win, because anybody other than McDavid carrying the puck is a win for the Canucks. And I just felt, in general, they angled him off brilliantly. Hronek skated with them well. They did that thing that Tocchet always talks about. Don't skate backwards. You'll lose if you're skating backwards. And they skated with him, and that was a big part of defending him.
Well, yeah, you saw there was that one play Philip Hronek made. I think it was in the second period where McDavid was about to get an edge on him, and he's skating, going as hard as he can. And it looked like McDavid was about to get an edge on him and drive towards the net, and then the stick comes along for Hronek, knocks the puck off, allows him to recover, and that chance is taken away. And the fact that the other Canucks defensemen, the big guys you mentioned, they have such long reach. How many times do you see a guy get around a guy, but then, Myers all of a sudden reaches around and knocks his puck loose? Same with Zadorov, same with Carson Soucy. That has to be so frustrating to play against, that even when you think you have a step on a guy, that long reach comes out of nowhere and knocks the puck loose.
Gary and Terrace, the boys got to push back the Oilers first 10 minutes, keep their feet moving, skate north, south, and be hard on the forecheck. Shilovs is dialed tonight. 3-2 Canucks. That's from Gary in Terrace. Another text. What's Sat's take on the jeering-style cheers such as Skinner? Is that poor etiquette? Should we chant positively for the Canucks instead? Thanks, guys, and go Canucks, go.
No, I mean, I think it's great. It's fine. I mean, as long as you're not doing something stupid, I think it's fine. I mean, and especially for a guy in Skinner who has said that he's had to overcome the mental challenges in the playoffs and the pressure of certain moments. Yeah, make it as hard as possible for the opposing netminder. Why not? Depends on the guy. Like, there's certain guys that may feed on it.
Yeah.
For instance, if it was prime Marty Brodeur or Patrick Roy, I'd be like, maybe don't inspire the guy a bit more.
Yeah.
Right? But a guy like Skinner, absolutely.
Yeah. You look back at the opening round, to give him credit, he started slow against LA and then got better as the series went on, had that big shutout where he made 30-plus saves. So the Oilers won 1-0. So, he has a better level than what he showed in game one, obviously.
Yeah.
But, it's just still a goalie that you would not consider impenetrable. So if the Canucks are going to continue having success, continue to get their good looks on Stuart Skinner. Another text, let's just hope Kelly Sutherland doesn't influence the outcome of this game. Man, I've never seen a ref get so much talk ahead of a game.
Yeah, man.
Unbelievable.
The scars are still very very raw. Like, the people haven't gotten over it. And yeah, there's some bad moments with Kelly Sutherland. I get the PTSD. Hopefully, he just gets out of the way and officiates a good game, a good clean game here tonight.
Sat on with Brett and Bick in intermissions and postgame. I'll be doing postgame in the Canucks room. And next, it's Batch and Randeep with the call of Game 2 on the White Spot pregame show.
BCers love hockey, and they also love burgers. What's even better is saving 20% off takeout during the playoffs. Order White Spot online and save 20% off with code SAVE20. Not valid on May 12th, June 16th, or on pirate packs and alcohol. Only at whitespot.ca.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Do you want to play where the Canucks play? And no, I'm not talking Rogers Arena. It's Northview Golf and Country Club. Dan Murphy here. It's easy to see why Northview is the official golf course of the Vancouver Canucks. 2 championship courses designed by Arnold Palmer, world-class facilities, and Duffy's Sports Grill, the perfect spot to finish off a great day. Or if you're like me, perhaps start the day. Northview, designed by the King, open to all. Book a tee time now at northviewgolf.com.
The road trips are coming.
The road
trips are coming.
Do you hear that?
The road trips are coming.
Hey, it's Jeff, owner at Turn 3 Autosport. It's time to get road trip ready by getting your spring service done. Experience an exceptional alternative to the dealer and book your appointment today to hit the road running. Our team's passion and commitment will have you wondering why you didn't visit us sooner.
Turn 3 Autosport, born out of a passion. In Langley and at turn3autosport.com.
BCers love hockey, and they also love burgers. What's even better is saving 20% off takeout during the playoffs. Order White Spot online and save 20% off with code SAVE20. Not valid on May 12th, June 16th, or on pirate packs and alcohol. Only at whitespot.ca.
Hey, this is Quinn Hughes.
Miller, high slot for Hughes. With a wrist shot, he scores! Quinn Hughes throws it to the goal. It beats Sergei Bobrovsky.
And you're listening to Canucks Hockey and Sportsnet Radio Network.
The comeback Canucks did it again in Game 1 against the Oilers, overcoming a 4-1 deficit to take the lead in the series. Joshua laid a heavy hit on Hyman, and Lindholm's got it behind the net, standing in front. He's loose to the crease. He scores! Susie gets it, goes rink wide to the right side. Besser with room. Side of the net. Miller tip. He scores! Luger stops up at the hash marks, back to Zadorov. He scores! Joshua drops to Garland with speed, right wing, into the other zone, makes a shot, takes a shot, he scores! Are you kidding me? Connor Garland with a complete fake out of Stuart Skinner gives the Canucks the lead. Tonight, Vancouver has a chance to go up 2-0 before the series shifts to Edmonton this weekend. It's round 2, game 2.
You're listening to Vancouver Canucks hockey on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The Stanley Cup playoffs are on the air, live from Rogers Arena. Brendan Batchelor and Randeep Janda with you as we get you set for round 2, game 2. The Vancouver Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers. And Randeep, let's get right to the keys to the game, brought to you by Avenue Machinery and Douglas Lake Equipment. Get your keys to the all-star collection of Kubota products at one of their 6 locations around BC this spring. Visit DLEAMC.com for details. Now, and our first key to the game tonight for the Canucks is composure.
Absolutely. You can hear the energy in the building already. There's going to be a lot of it. There's going to be a lot of passion from the fans, and the Oilers will have jump too. So the Canucks have to stay composed. They have to keep skating, not take early penalties, and don't lose that composure. The opening 2 minutes of this game are going to be really important. You have a lot of energy there, and you have an opposition that's going to be motivated.
There were only 4 power plays in game 1. The Canucks had 3 of them. The Oilers had just 1. There's a good chance there will be more of them tonight, and we know how good Edmonton can be on its man advantage. So our second key to the game is the Canucks power play. They've got to get going here.
Absolutely, and you've got a Edmonton Oilers power play that's over 47% now in the playoffs after scoring in the last game. You don't have to score to the same level that they're scoring, but when you get 2 or 3 opportunities, you have to make 1 or 2 count their batch. That's something that at some point in the playoffs, you really got to pick it up. The confidence growing, but at some point you got to deliver. Maybe that's tonight.
Let's take a look at changes to the lineups for both of these teams. None for the Canucks. They will dress the same 18 skaters and the same goaltender as they get set to face the Oilers tonight. Meanwhile, a change for Edmonton. Adam Henrique draws back into the lineup. He missed game 1 with a lower body injury. Connor Brown comes out of the lineup. And Randeep, the big story, Leon Draisaitl is going to play tonight.
Yeah, I think there's everybody in this arena, including myself, was over-analyzing the pregame warm-up, how he was skating around. He looks like he's playing tonight. He looks like he might be playing next to Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman. The question is, what's that percentage point at? Can he move freely, or is it going to be like the third period in game 1 where you could tell he was not up to it, he was feeling something, but as of right now, he's playing, and we'll see how he looks.
Let's take a look at the goaltenders. It's Archer Shelovs for the Canucks. Gave up 4 goals and made 14 saves in the game 1 win. Stuart Skinner goes between the pipes for the Oilers. He gave up 5 goals and made 19 saves in the loss for the Oilers. The starting lineups are presented by Angry Otter Liquor. Score big on your game day favorites at Angry Otter Liquor. The Oilers begin with Matthias Ekholm and Evan Bouchard on the back end, with Draisaitl, McDavid, and Hyman up front. For the Canucks, it's Soucy and Myers with Suter, Miller, and Besser. It's Game 2 from Rogers Arena, and we'll have the opening face-off next on Alpine Credits Canucks Playoff Hockey on Sportsnet 650 and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Coming soon, genetically modified super soldiers encased in armor with powerful jaws, capable of infiltrating any structure and rendering it to dust. Hundreds, thousands of them. Ants. Protect your home with Westside Pest Control. Westside Pest Control has the tools and know-how to eliminate your ant problem. Stop the destruction. WestsidePestControl.com.
Your feet, the silent workhorses of your body. They've danced you through life's highs, sprinted you through challenges, even stood firm on the green for that last putt. But even the strongest of supporters need support. That's where Kintec comes in, not just with shoes, but with custom orthotics that ensure every step is aligned and comfortable. Visit kintec.net and discover how orthotics can transform your every step.
You know, to be a truly great team, you need contributions from the top of the lineup right down to the bottom. And that's exactly what you'll get from the West Coast Auto Group. They've got their stars, West Coast Toyota, Mazda, Nissan, Kia, and Ford Lincoln. Plus, they have the role players that play a big part too. And that's where their famous service comes in. Great service, great selection, great team. The West Coast Auto Group, just over the bridge in Maple Ridge. Visit them online at westcoastautogroup.com.
In a world where business knows no borders, Crow provides global reach on a personal scale. Spanning more than 145 countries, Crow's trusted advisors have the knowledge and expertise to add value to your business. From traditional accounting services to business consulting, Crow creates solutions tailored to your unique needs. Let Crow's expertise elevate your business. Visit crowmackay.ca to learn more. Crow, smart decisions, lasting value.
When was the last time you hung out with a legend? A true Vancouver legend that every pro athlete, actor, and rock star who is anyone has gotten to know. A place where a legend... Isn't it time you got reacquainted with this Vancouver legend? Pre-game, post-game, even during the game. The number 5 Orange.
Hey, this is Brock Besser.
He scores with 1 second left in the period.
And you're on the home of the Canucks, Sportsnet Radio Network.
Please rise you can, remove your hats, and join Canadians from coast to coast and Elizabeth Irving in the singing of O Canada.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command.
Elizabeth Irving and 18,000 plus with the singing of the national anthem tonight inside Rogers Arena. And with that in the books, it's just about time to drop the puck between the Vancouver Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers in Game 2 of round number 2 in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Canucks are wearing the home blue uniforms with the white and green trim. They'll skate from right to left in the first period. The Oilers in their road whites with blue and orange trim will go from left to right. The referees are Eric Furlat and Kelly Sutherland. Kyle Murchison and Brandon Garlitz are on the lines. Brad Watson is the series supervisor. And the opening faceoff is brought to you by Northview Golf and Country Club, the official golf course of the Vancouver Canucks. Legendary golf at its finest. Book now at northviewgolf.com. A different look for the Canucks to contend with Draisaitl and McDavid on the same line. But you know it, or you knew it would be JT Miller picking up the matchup anyway, and that's how this game will begin this evening. Puck is down. McDavid wins the draw back to his own line, and Matthias Ekholm has it for the Oilers. Ekholm near boards for Bouchard. Rink wide left wing for Draisaitl. Into the Vancouver zone. Drops to McDavid in the slot. Fanned on a one-time slap shot. Then turned it over to Miller on the far boards, and the Canucks will try to break out. Miller clears it near side for Soucy. Got it high off the glass to center. And Bouchard lifts it back into the Vancouver end. Myers back to the puck, chased down by McDavid in the left wing corner. Miller back to control, protects it from Hyman on the board, centers for Soucy. And he'll pass it to center. Besser's able to tip it in deep. And the Canucks can get an early change. Ekholm leaves on the end boards for Bouchard. Well, the Oilers will change as well. And Evan Bouchard taking time behind his own net. Banks it left wing to center. Kane tips it to the Vancouver line. It bounced off Zadorov's skate right back to the net. And Shilovs covers it up for the first whistle of the game. 53 seconds in. Randeep Janda.
The first shift of the game, Leon Draisaitl alongside Connor McDavid. But it starts off with JT Miller setting the tone, getting in the way in the neutral zone of one Connor McDavid, and then Tyler Myers finishing a check. So it's going to be, ideally for the Vancouver Canucks, a difficult night for Connor McDavid going through the neutral zone. That's what's worked in the last game. 0 shots on goal and only had 1 shot attempt.
Nugent Hopkins and Lindholm on the draw. And Lindholm wins it back to the far corner for Ian Cole. Right wing to center for Connor Garland. Now to Lindholm, driving middle of the ice into the Oilers zone. Try to drop pass. Garland missed it, and Nugent Hopkins has it instead. They'll play left wing to center for Darnell Nurse, who dumps it in. Shilov's out of the goal. Passes near corner for Nikita Zadorov. He'll play it up the boards to Dakota Joshua. Joshua dumps it behind his own net. Evander Kane on the forecheck. Fell into the end boards, tied up by Zadorov. No call, though, and the Canucks will escape to center. Garland try to pass up the right wing, broken up by Nurse. He'll feed right side for Corey Perry. Back into the Vancouver end. Crunched into the boards by Zadorov, and he went down in a heap. Zadorov takes a hit from Evander Kane as he cleared to center. Pettersson bats it down for Garland. Right wing into the Oilers zone. Takes a shot. It was stopped by Skinner. Rebound came to Pettersson in the slot, but he couldn't throw it back to the goal. Now Pettersson again, right wing. Feeds the line for Hughes, left point. Again to Pettersson on the near boards. Cycles it to the end wall. Hoaglander's after it on the forecheck. It comes to Pettersson again, left wing. Made a move around Desharnais. Lost the puck. The big Oilers defenseman plays behind his own goal for Brett Kulak, far corner. He'll send it up the wall for Adam Henrique, who clears to the red line. And Mikheyev on the back check drops to Quinn Hughes. Hughes fanned on a pass at his own line, but he'll settle the puck down and take it deep in his own end while both teams complete changes.
And a good job by the Canucks on that last shift to test Stuart Skinner, had an excellent opportunity on the rebound. Elias
on their own end. 2:18 into a scoreless first period. The Canucks and the Oilers in Game 2. Vancouver leads the series 1-0.
And Jeff Skinner is nowhere near the playoffs, so Stuart Skinner is the one I meant, of course. But a very energetic start to this one. Some physical play as well. Nikita Zadorov lining up Corey Perry and gets a bit of a response from Evander Kane. Something to watch there.
I thought you were talking about Seymour Skinner.
That's for the off-air.
Skinner.
Thanks,
Canucks
Pat.
win the draw. Hughes goes up the right wing to Lafferty. He throws it out to center, but Bouchard clears it back into the Canuck end. Here's McDavid. Hit by Di Giuseppe. Lost the puck, and Hughes turns back to center. Hughes left wing to the red line. Dumps it in. Canucks will begin a change. Miller on the forecheck. Can't find the puck. Here's Zach Hyman, right wing at center. Hyman delays. Gains the red line. Dumps it in on the right wing side. Myers across to it. Draisaitl in slowly on the forecheck. Couldn't get to the puck, but the Oilers chip it deep anyway. Now Hyman, right circle, throws it to the net. It bounced off Myers' skate in front and goes over the glass and out of play. 2:54 gone in the first, no score in Game 2 between Vancouver and Edmonton.
And right as Hyman shot that puck, JT Miller lowering the boom coming across the ice and just shoulder to chest and drops Zach Hyman. Hyman's got 9 goals in the playoffs, so it's not only about getting in the way of Connor McDavid. JT Miller also inflicting some punishment on Zach Hyman.
And we saw the potential lack of mobility from Draisaitl there. As if he had been 100% or close to it, he would have got in quickly on the forecheck down the left boards, tried to contest the puck. He didn't even attempt to get there. Shot from the right point by Nurse off a face-off win for the Oilers, held out by Shelovs. His first stop of the game. And Quinn Hughes controls at his own line and drops it back to Filip Hronek. Canucks trying to break out here. Hughes passes left wing. Garland dumps it into the Oiler end. And Darnell Nurse retreats to it behind his own goal. Nurse passes left wing to center. Derek Ryan tipped it in deep, so there's no icing. Shelovs out of the net, goes far corner for Hronek. Nice rink-wide pass left wing for Hughes to center ice. Quinn Hughes to the Oiler line, dumps it in. Darnell Nurse on the end boards, hit hard by Elias Lindholm. Puck comes near side to Ceci. He chips it ahead for Janmark, and now for Nugent Hopkins, middle of the ice. Fires it in on Shelovs. He turned it to the corner. Hughes back to it. Protects it from Nugent Hopkins, who then trips it off into the corner boards. It's going to be an Oiler penalty. DiGiuseppe dumps it in. Skinner's out of the net to handle. And Vancouver gets the first man advantage of Game 2. 3:53 into a scoreless first period.
And Burnaby's Ryan Nugent Hopkins gets caught reaching here as Nikita Zadorov picks up the puck. After Nugent Hopkins is aggressive on the forecheck and stops moving his feet and takes down Nikita Zadorov to the left of Archer Shelov. So a great opportunity for Vancouver to right the power play here early in this game.
Canucks went 0 for 3 on the man advantage in Game 1. They're 2 for 16 overall in the postseason. Nugent Hopkins off for tripping. Face off of the Oilers zone to our left far circle. Lindholm and Draisaitl on the draw. And Draisaitl wins it back to Ekholm, who gets an early clear all the way down on Shelovs. He'll sweep it ahead to Quinn Hughes as Ekholm and Lindholm are getting into it behind the play. Some pushing and shoving as the Canucks skate up ice. Here's Pettersson with speed. Left wing to the Oiler line. Drops to Miller. Rink wide right point for Lindholm. Now to Hughes, middle of the ice to Miller. Left circle, passes back door. Pettersson, he scores! Elias Pettersson has his first of the playoffs. And the Canucks score their first power play goal of the series. They take a 1-0 lead in Game 2.
The Canucks act quick, and this barn is buzzing as the power play gets started and has some life. JT Miller from the left-hand side, seam pass. Beautiful pass to Elias Pettersson. There's no hesitation on this one as Skinner's trying to go from right to left, and he doesn't budge an inch before Elias Pettersson smokes this puck past him. Confidence with this power play again as Pettersson scores to make it 1-0.
Pettersson hadn't scored in the last 10 games, dating back to April 10th. But he's got his first of the playoffs at 4:14 of the first period on the power play. Canucks lead 1-0. The time of the goal is brought to you by Crow, your trusted advisors for 55 years. Learn more at crowmackay.ca. Puck back in the Oiler end. Here's McDavid. Passing right wing to center for Zach Hyman. Hyman into the Vancouver end. Spins off a check from Soucy. Passes near corner for Ekholm. He'll bank it to the far corner for Draisaitl. Try to backhand shot. Blocked by Myers. And Hyman gets it again. Back to Draisaitl. Top of the left circle. Spins it behind the goal. McDavid out the near side. Centering pass cleared by Myers to Suter on the near wall. And the Canucks will have room to skate it to center. Suter banks it to the red line. Miller chips it in deep. And both teams will complete changes.
And a very dangerous play there. Tyler Myers just in that blue paint, helping his goalie out, making sure nothing's passing through that area.
Now Evander Kane. Passes near boards. Zadorov knocks it away from Desharnais. And Evander Kane leaves at his own line for Brett Kulak. Fans in fine form tonight at Rogers Arena, already giving it to the Oiler goaltender after conceding the first goal of the game. And here's Connor Garland lifting it right wing to center for Ian Cole. Cole into the Oiler end. Right point, stops up, takes a shot. He missed it. High and wide past the glove side of Skinner. Garland missed it on the near boards, though, and Warren Fogel's out to center. Fogel dumped it left boards. Evander Kane clears it in behind the Vancouver net, and Nikita Zadorov's got it near corner. Zadorov Right wing pass hopped over the stick of Hronek. Henrique dumps it back deep into the Vancouver zone. Zadorov pressured by Perry on the forecheck. And he'll skate quickly to center. Ilya Mikheyev, left wing, into the Oilers zone, driving wide on Ceci, behind the Edmonton net, out the right wing side, to the line for Hronek, now to Hughes left point. Makes a move around Perry to the boards, chips it behind the net to Pettersson, who's hit hard into the end boards by Darnell Nurse. Pettersson slow to get up. Hoglander went across, gave Nurse a shot. Nurse goes back at Pettersson, gives him a forearm in the back of the head. And the Oilers will break out to center. Ceci right wing to the red line, dumps it in. Ryan McLeod left corner, hit hard by Hronek. Henrique's got it on the end boards, chips it near corner. Mikheyev laid a bump on Perry. Henrique on the far side, pushed to the wall by Hronek. It comes down low to Perry. Protected the puck from Hughes on the end boards. Hughes ties up Perry far corner, gets the puck himself. Protects it from Henrique, played it up the wall. Good job by Bluger to lift the stick of Perry, and the Canucks clear it out to center ice. Bouchard back into the Vancouver end on right wing, dumps it behind the net. It's met by McDavid, left boards off the bench. Connor McDavid protected the puck from Quinn Hughes, feeds the line for Ekholm, now to the right point for Bouchard. Watched closely by Mikheyev, carries down the right wing board, cycles back to Mikheyev high in the zone. Mikheyev with a backhand pass to the left circle for Hyman. Spinning off a check from DiGiuseppe. Zach Hyman, top of the circle, pressured by Bluger, pass down low to McDavid. He'll leave it left corner for Draisaitl. Up the far side. Now to the line for Bouchard. Wrist shot through traffic. Hit Hronek's stick as he was trying to chip it free in front. He tipped it to the corner, but Hyman's got it left wing. Canucks hemmed in here. They need a whistle. Ekholm with a drive right point. Blocked by Mikheyev, but it comes to Draisaitl left wing of the hash marks. Leon Draisaitl takes a hard cross check from Teddy Bluger in the back, but passes near side for Ekholm. He lost it to Mikheyev, and the Canucks get it back into the Oilers zone, and they'll be able to change. They called this icing. It looked like it tipped off an Oilers stick to me. And so, in fact, the Canucks players will not be able to get off the ice, and this is a dangerous situation, as Mikheyev and Hronek have both been out there for more than 2 minutes. Hughes 1 minute and 49 seconds, Bluger 1 minute 20, and DiGiuseppe 58 seconds.
And they were able to survive the Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid line out there, but now Evander Kane, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins are out there, so this is going to be a very difficult situation for the Canucks, but you just got to get that puck to neutral ice here.
Bluger and Nugent-Hopkins will contest the draw to the right of Archer Shilovs in the Vancouver zone. Canucks up 1-0 as we near the 8-minute mark in Game 2. Evander Kane tried a shot for the left circle, tipped off a stick and wide of the net, and Nugent-Hopkins controls on the left wing. Back to the point for Brett Kulak. Shoots intentionally wide of the net, nearly deflected out front, but Archer Shilovs had an active stick to bat it away. Now Desharnais, right point, try to pass D to D, and Mikheyev gets his stick in to deflect it up into the stands and out of play. 8:16 elapsed in the first period of Game 2. It's the Canucks 1 and the Oilers 0 on Alpine Credits Canucks Playoff Hockey, streaming on the Sportsnet app and along the Sportsnet radio network.
Carter Honda is on the bandwagon, and it's game time, saving the best deals for the playoffs. Lease a new Honda Civic or HR-V from just 3.49% with plenty of stock to choose from. Or lease the award-winning CR-V from just 2.99%. And yes, that includes the CR-V hybrid model. Come in and ask about the playoff package at Carter Honda, 8th and Burrard, and CarterHonda.com. Let's go!
As BC's favorite team continues their playoff run, visit any Tiletown location and receive 20% off any regular priced in-stock tile. Locally owned and operated since 1971, Tiletown offers free design and consultation, do-it-yourself supplies, and their Schluter certified staff have the knowledge to help you with your project. Get started today at Tiletown. Visit them at any one of their 3 locations in Victoria, Richmond, and Langley, and online at mytiletown.ca.
From the location, the service, and right down to the deal, it's nice to know that everything is easy at Ensign Pacific, Vancouver's premier Chrysler Dodge Ram Jeep dealer. Right now, 0% is back, but only for limited time. Get 0% up to 72 months on select Jeep and Dodge models. Ensign Pacific on 2nd Avenue between Cambie and Maine. Easy to get to, easy to deal with.
Everything's easy at Ensign Pacific.
Hi, this is Elias Patterson, and you're listening to the official home of the Canucks, Sportsnet 650.
You're listening to Alpine Credits Canucks Playoff Hockey on Sportsnet 650 and the Sportsnet Radio Network. Own your home. Alpine Credits can get your loan approved. Alpine Credits homeowners get approved. Visit alpinecredits.ca. 8:16 into the first period tonight in Vancouver. Canucks lead the Oilers 1-0 in Game 2. Elias Pettersson with the lone goal of the game, his first of the playoffs on an early power play for the Canucks. Oilers win a face-off of the Vancouver zone. Ekholm got it left boards for Hyman, who dumps it behind the net, but it deflects up into the netting and out of play.
A much-needed rest for the Canucks during that break, but they can match up the McDavid versus Miller lineup yet again. Prior to the commercial break, there was a mixture of players. Phil DiGiuseppe was out there, Ilya Mikheyev, and it was kind of a very dangerous situation for the Canucks as the McDavid line, the Evander Kane line came out, and a very tired group was out there for the Canucks. But now you get that break, and you should be a little bit more composed.
We're seeing a soft matchup here from Rick Tocchet as he's using both Miller and Lindholm's lines against McDavid. The Lindholm line out there right now as the Oilers have it again in the Vancouver zone. Bouchard right point, heavy shot blocked in the slot by Lindholm. Hughes Suter on the far side. Skates to center as Miller knocked the stick out of the hands of Ekholm. It went flying into the bench. And one of the Canucks down there broke the stick after it came into the bench. Ekholm was yelling at the referees, wanted a penalty, but play continues, and Bouchard's got it in his own end. Bouchard winding his way to the Vancouver line. Left boards for Draisaitl. Rink wide right side for McDavid. Now for Ekholm. Into the near corner. Hyman had the puck tip off his stick. Soucy gets it down low and spins it back to the near side. McDavid meets it. Right wing half boards. He's got the puck on the wall, drops to Draisaitl, try to shot, blocked by Soucy, rebound to the slot. Hyman throws it to the goal. It's stopped down low by Shilov's delayed call coming up against the Canucks, though. As Ekholm is tied up by Besser on the near boards. The Canuck forward touches the puck. It's hooking against Tyler Myers, and the vaunted Oiler power play will get an opportunity to tie the game.
And this happens right in front of the net as Zach Hyman was looking for a rebound, and he had position to turn and fire. Tyler Myers has to get the stick in on the hands to make sure that Hyman doesn't create a dangerous chance out of that. But a very, very hot power play now comes onto the ice for the Edmonton Oilers as they're clicking at 47%, over 47% in the playoffs, and went 1 for 1 in the last game.
They set a record in the playoffs last year. Their power play was 46.2%, so right now they're on pace to eclipse that. And the only benefit for the Canucks could be that some of those players were already out on the ice when the penalty was drawn. Face off to the right of Shilov's in the Vancouver zone. 9:23 into the first. Canucks lead 1-0 in Game 2. Oilers have their first power play of the night. Lindholm wins the draw to Ian Cole. Dumps it behind the net. McDavid's got it on the end boards, though. Passes left circle to Nugent Hopkins. Out of the line for Evan Bouchard. Skated across, goes back left circle for Nugent Hopkins. Down low McDavid behind the Vancouver net. Out the right wing side to Bouchard. High slot, heavy shot. And Shilov's turned it aside. Nugent Hopkins recovers it left boards, hassled by Lindholm. He played it back to the line. Bouchard has room to step into a shot, fakes a pass left side. Nugent Hopkins tried to center it, deflected off a stick to the near circle. Bluger is battling with Draisaitl, pokes it to the line. Bouchard held in to Hyman. Now near side, McDavid with a one-timer. He's robbed by Shilov's rebound left circle, and Shilov's makes another save, this time on Draisaitl. A couple of tremendous stops from the young Latvian to keep this a 1-0 game. Now Bouchard, top of the point to Nugent Hopkins, left circle, down low to McDavid. Tried a tight angle one. He wanted to elevate it over the shoulder of Shilov's, but missed the net. Now McDavid turns it over, and Elias Lindholm could clear it all the way down the ice with under a minute left in the Oiler man advantage.
Artur Shilovs with two massive saves. First on Connor McDavid, then Leon Draisaitl on the left-hand side.
Now here's McDavid with speed to the Vancouver line. Dumps it right boards for Draisaitl. Protects the puck on his backhand. Took a bump from Joshua, but has it. Carries down the boards to McDavid. Cutting to the top of the crease. Lost the puck. It's loose in the slot. Corralled by Nugent Hopkins. 35 seconds left in the power play. To Draisaitl. Bottom of the right circle. Doesn't have a shooting lane. Passes side of the net. McDavid back to Draisaitl. He scores. A quick give and go from 29 and 97, and Leon Draisaitl strikes on the man advantage to tie the game at 1.
The Oilers had a couple of chances, and Shilovs denied them, but right down Main Street, as it's a bit of a give and go by Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Draisaitl not near the goal line this time. It's actually Connor McDavid in that spot. As Draisaitl comes down the right-hand side, plays a pass to McDavid, and there's a clear path to the net. As Phil DiGiuseppe, Dakota Joshua, and Carson Soucy were in the area, but nobody follows Draisaitl and gets close on him to take away the shot. That's very easy for the German, who makes it 1-1. Big goal for the Oilers, and they responded, Batch, with a pretty consistent effort right after allowing that goal. They were on the Canucks.
Dreisaitl's sixth of the playoffs comes on the power play at 10:56 of the first period to tie the game at 1. The time of the goal is brought to you by Crow, your trusted advisors for 55 years. Learn more at crowmackay.ca. 8:57 left in the first. It's 1-1 in Game 2 on Alpine Credit's Canucks Playoff Hockey on Sportsnet 650 and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Coming soon to a backyard near you. Just when you thought it was safe to go outside, they're not here for the flowers. They're here for you. They're coming for your food. They're coming for your fun. And if you resist, they will attack. Wasps. Protect your home with Westside Pest Control. Westside Pest Control has the tools and know-how to eliminate your wasp problem. Don't live in fear. WestsidePestControl.com.
Who relies on Rogers Ignite Internet the most? Is it your partner, who's on back-to-back video calls all day long? Your teenager and their 7 friends, gaming for hours when they should be doing homework? Or your youngest, streaming the same animated movie again and again and again? Get Rogers reliable Ignite Internet for all your devices at home and all those who count on them. Starting at just $60 a month when paired with a mobile plan. Visit Rogers.com for details.
Hey, this is Carson Soucy, and you're on the home of the Canucks, Sportsnet 650.
Have you welcomed a little Sonic into your life? Sonic 104.9 is Vancouver's new alternative radio station, and they have tickets to every Canucks home playoff game that you could win. Listen weekday mornings for the details on Sonic 104.9. 8:57 left in the first period of Game 2. The Canucks and the Oilers are tied at 1. After matching power play goals scored by Elias Pettersson first for Vancouver, and then Leon Draisaitl for the Oilers. Nikita Zadorov back to the puck near corner in his own zone to our right, tied up by Fogle on the boards. Pettersson in to help out. Battles with McLeod, who clears behind the Canuck net. Evander Kane trying to center a pass, tipped away by Zadorov. Then McLeod missed it, and Niels Höglander lifts it out to center, out of the reach of Pettersson. This will be icing against the Canucks.
The Oilers group tonight.
Top line out again, Draisaitl, McDavid, and Hyman. Against the Pettersson line off the icing, and the Oilers win the draw. Bouchard right point. Dumps it near corner for McDavid. He's knocked down by Zadorov in a battle, but Hyman's in to get the puck. Zach Hyman, left corner, watched by Pettersson. Protects it well, plays it behind the net to McDavid, but it's battered away from him to Niels Höglander near side. And here come the Canucks to center. Höglander through the center ice circle, dumps it into the corner. But he had both Pettersson and Mikheyev ahead of him in the rush. They both had to stop to stay on side. So the Canucks don't create any momentum on the forecheck, and now here come the Oilers the other way. Draisaitl, left wing into the Vancouver zone, dumps it to the corner. Hughes is hit hard into the end boards by Hyman, lost his helmet. And he's going to go to the bench with McDavid feeding it to the line for Ekholm. Ekholm makes a move around Hughes as he was going off, trying to pass into the slot, broken up by Suter. It sat there. Draisaitl digging away for it, loose top of the crease, and Shelovs is able to fall on top of it and get the whistle as Zach Hyman is put in a headlock by Pius Suter. 7:41 remaining in the first period, and the Canucks and Oilers tied at 1 in Game 2.
It is a little frantic in the Canucks defensive zone right now as Hugh Suter makes a good defensive play to dive in there and really break up a play as the Oilers' top line is attacking, but right after that, the puck just sits in the middle of the ice for about a second, and the Oilers nearly jump on it again. So the Canucks eating a lot of pressure right now. But you got to make sure when you have that puck on your stick that you make that play. There's a little bit of hesitation right now, Batch, that hasn't cost the Canucks yet, but there are danger signs, especially with McDavid's line out there.
Fourth line against fourth line here. Face off of the Vancouver zone, won by Derek Ryan. Back to the line for Desharnais, dumps it behind the net for Matthias Janmark. Janmark out the left wing side, pushed hard into the boards by Myers from behind. Myers went down heavily too, and he is very slow to get up. Oilers still have it in the Vancouver zone. And Myers still getting to his feet. but makes a great play as he is able to get back up and poke checks the puck off of Derek Ryan's stick. Now a heavy drive left point by Kulak that looked like it might have been a bit of a knuckleball or change direction, but Shilov's held it out. Canucks get it to center, dump it into the Oilers zone, and Myers goes gingerly to the Canuck bench. Teddy Bluger, left wing to the Oiler line. Passes back to the point for Quinn Hughes. Again to Bluger. Bottom of the left circle. Banks it behind the net for Connor Garland. Garland spins off a check of Desharnais. Protected the puck to the right corner. Pushed to the boards by McLeod. Desharnais lays the body on him. Joshua in to help out. Missed the puck. And Kulak has it instead for Edmonton. Played it near side for Corey Perry. Drops it back to Desharnais in his own zone. He threw it up the wall for Ryan McLeod. Onto the near side. Perry battling with Hughes. Can't come up with the puck. McLeod in to help out, leaves for Desharnais at his own line, and now for Brett Kulak in the defensive zone.
And the Oilers defensemen, compared to game one, a lot more aggressive in the defensive zone. Desharnais and Nurse trying to break the cycle more effectively than they did in game one.
Now Pettersson breaks up a pass at center, right side for McCabe. He's got room into the Oilers zone, shoots right on, stopped by Skinner, and he covers up for the whistle. With 6:13 remaining in the opening period, it's a 1-1 tie in game two between the Canucks and the Oilers.
And back, Tyler Myers is still on the Canucks bench. He's being looked at by the training staff. Absolutely crunched Janmark into the boards and then fell awkwardly. It's like he got his right wrist or his forearm, entire body weight on that forearm or wrist. So something to watch there. He's still currently there, as he just tumbled over and lost his balance there as his skate got caught up in Janmark and looked like it was the hand.
Keep an eye on Myers' status as the Oilers ice the puck off a face-off win in their own end. And the draw will come all the way back down the ice. Thanks for joining us along the Sportsnet Radio Network tonight, whether you're Bob tuning in from Albuquerque, New Mexico, Brett who listens from Thailand, or wherever you're tuning in. We thank you for spending your evening, afternoon, or morning with us. Let us know where you're listening from. You can reach me at Batch Hockey. He is at Randeep Janda. Our flagship station is at Sportsnet 650. You can find those handles on Instagram, TikTok, and the social media platform formerly known as Twitter. Pettersson wins the offensive zone faceoff, but it's split his two defensemen, rolls back into the Vancouver end. Zadorov back to the puck, tied up by Fogle near corner. Pettersson to help out. Knocks it free for Höglander. Here come the Canucks to center. Höglander goes rink wide right wing for Ian Cole up in the rush. He chips it past Nurse into the corner. Pettersson on the forecheck, laid a hit on Cody Ceci on the end boards. Oilers trying to break free. Höglander held in. He's got room, high slot. Plays it into the far corner. He'll battle with Nurse down low. Pettersson in to support. Nugent Hopkins is there too. It bounces free to McKay. He'll carry behind the Edmonton net. McKay left point Zadorov. One-time shot through traffic. Stopped by Skinner. Rebound in front. Höglander's digging away at it. And Skinner's able to fall on top of it. And there's Niels Höglander in the midst of things, with Darnell Nurse going right at him as he tried to knock that loose puck past the Oiler goaltender. 5:24 left in the first period. A 1-1 tie in game two between the Vancouver Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers on Alpine Credits Canucks Playoff Hockey, streaming on the Sportsnet app and along the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Hey, it's Satyar Shah from Sportsnet 650. Wildfires have the power to drastically change lives in BC, and as wildfires become more frequent and intense, we can all take proactive measures to protect our province, our homes, and our communities. BCAA and FireSmart BC have joined forces to help educate British Columbians in wildfire prevention and preparedness. Get FireSmart with BCAA and FireSmart BC. For tips and resources, visit bcaa.com/firesmart.
As you gear up to support your favorite team this spring, know that your favorite Kubota equipment dealer is elevating their game too. Swing by Avenue Machinery and Douglas Lake Equipment, your trusted full-line Kubota dealers, and up your game with 0% financing and special spring deals on Kubota gear. Big or small, you'll receive the respect and support you deserve. Visit one of Avenue Machinery and Douglas Lake Equipment's 6 BC locations or explore DLEAMC.com.
This is Alpine Credits Canucks Playoff Hockey.
Down the right wing, he shoots and scores!
on the official home of the Canucks, Sportsnet 650 and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Get your tickets for the Canucks online 50-50 draw. Go to Canucks.com/5050 to enter. Ticket sales close at the end of the second intermission. Must be 19 plus and located in BC at the time of purchase to play. Know your limit. Play within it. 5:24 left in the first period of Game 2. It's a 1-1 game between the Canucks and the Oilers at Rogers Arena. And Edmonton wins a defensive zone faceoff. Darnell Nurse will skate left wing to center, try to pass right wing behind Matthias Janmark, and it's icing against Edmonton.
You mentioned Darnell Nurse there, who iced the puck. The matchups are a little different this game compared to Game 1. He saw a lot of the Lindholm line alongside Cody Ceci. In this game, seeing a lot more of Elias Pettersson, so they're trying to move away from that head-to-head with Elias Lindholm, but I gotta say, Elias Pettersson's had some good success against him in this game.
Here's a mismatch for the Canucks. The Miller line out against the Oiler fourth line off the icing call. Canucks win the draw. Besser into the slot. Suter tipped it right on. Nice deflection, but Skinner was wise to it and made the save and smothered it as well.
Hugh Suter has been living in that area in the playoffs where he's been able to find a little bit of room in the slot, and off the face-off, goes to the right-hand side where it's just kind of cleared into the, passed into the area. It takes a bit of a bounce, and Hugh Suter just whacks at the puck, trying to go 5-hole. But Stuart Skinner makes that save. But at this point, you want to get as many pucks on net on Skinner just to see where his confidence is at.
Canucks got that mismatch off the icing call, but now the McDavid line comes out, so Miller's line will stay on to oppose them. And McDavid wins the faceoff in his own end to Matthias Ekholm. Got it to the line, not out. Held in by Besser. Left circle, throw backhand pass. Suter deflected it on the backhand, and that didn't miss by much. Past the glove side post of Skinner. Now here's McDavid with speed back to the Vancouver line. Heavy shot left wing. Sheilov spotted off his left arm. He couldn't grab it, but he tipped it to the corner. And that's really the first time in the series that McDavid has been able to get up to top speed through the neutral zone. Oilers working the cycle in the Vancouver end. JT Miller breaks it up. Here's a 3-on-2 chance to center. Miller. Middle of the ice, passes right circle. Besser going to the goal. He was tied up by Draisaitl on the back check. Puck rolls to the corner. Miller gets it free right wing to Hughes left circle. Carrying down the board, sent it to the net. Skinner kicked it out. There was a rebound in the slot, but McDavid has it, and he'll settle things down in his own end while both teams get partial changes.
And it's unfortunate that the Canucks needed a change there for their forward group, because that was a juicy rebound. A great play by Quinn Hughes to play for the rebound there.
Ekholm from behind his own net. Passes left wing to center for Warren Foegele. Chipped it to the Vancouver line. Garland protects it from Nugent Hopkins. As they battle for the puck, Nugent Hopkins knocked Garland down. Got it left wing. Evander Kane towards the goal. Tried a shot block by Cole. Got his own rebound, and he missed the net. Now Brett Kulak holds in right point. Left side Desharnais, one-timer. Garland got in front of that one. Lindholm kicks it up the boards, and Joshua and Garland combine to clear the zone. 3:45 left in the first period of Game 2. It's a 1-1 tie between the Canucks and the Oilers. Now here's Nugent Hopkins, middle of the ice, into the Vancouver zone. Right wing for Evander Kane, try to backhand shot. Tip wide of the net. Ian Cole dumps it to the far corner. Elias Pettersson after it. Battling with Evander Kane. And Nugent Hopkins can't get it out. It comes back to Ian Cole in the corner, threw it in front of his own goal. Luckily, there were no Oilers there, and McDavid carries to the near side wall. Pushed to the boards by Foegele. It comes to Zadorov. He'll play it behind the net. Ian Cole on the far side is content to pound it off the boards to center for Höglander. Right wing Pettersson dumped it into the Oilers zone, skates onto it. Left wing McKayev to the net. Was tied up by Desharnais just as he went to shoot. Now it comes to Pettersson left wing. Clean wrist shot right on, and Skinner stopped him up high. Delayed call against the Oilers here as Nugent Hopkins got tangled up with Pettersson. Canucks are going to go to the power play. Hughes, stick handling left point. Goes near corner for Niels Höglander. Back to the line for Ilya Mikheyev. Now to JT Miller off the bench. 6-on-5 for the moment for Vancouver. Miller, backhand feed to Hronek, high slot, takes it left boards, tries to go back to Miller, but Nugent Hopkins tipped it out to center. Now the Canucks will regroup in the neutral zone. Quick pass right wing from Miller to Pettersson is touched by Corey Perry. And the Canucks will get their second power play of the first period with 2:39 left in the opening frame. And the game is tied at 1.
And that is the second minor penalty of this game for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. This time he's going off for holding by the looks of it. And Elias Pettersson doing a lot on that shift, playing with speed, setting up Ilya Mikheyev. Desharnais makes an excellent play. And right after that, Pettersson trying to go high blocker side on Stuart Skinner. So this was an excellent opportunity, but Skinner makes that save. And right after that, Nugent Hopkins takes the holding penalty.
Canucks 1 for 1 on the man advantage tonight. Looking to reestablish the lead. while Ryan Nugent-Hopkins watches on from the penalty box. Face-off right circle in the Oilers zone. Won by Draisaitl from Lindholm back to Kulak, and he clears it high off the glass the full length of the ice. Quinn Hughes from behind his own goal passes left wing to center for JT Miller. Miller drops to Brock Besser. Try to left wing pass. It was behind Pettersson. Miller gets it, and the Canucks lose the momentum they had up ice and will have to try and reset in the neutral zone. Miller, right wing, leaves for Hughes, trailing the play. Winds to the Oiler line, goes near boards for Pettersson, who dumps it into the corner, and Hughes is after Ekholm on the forecheck. It's tied up in a battle behind the net. Besser gets it free, right wing corner. Banks it to the line for Miller. Now to the left side, Pettersson. Settling in the circle, try to drop pass to Miller, tipped away by Ekholm. He couldn't clear the zone. Garland's back on the top power play unit, by the way. Lindholm was out there for the face-off, but they've changed, and now Hughes gets it free. Right circle, Besser, heavy drive, blocked by Ekholm. It broke his stick. So he's got to go to the bench for a new one. Janmark has the puck stripped by Garland. Miller tried a centering pass, blocked by Kulak out of the left corner. Besser chips it back to the near side. Miller has it down low. He'll feed the line for Quinn Hughes. Hughes, left circle. Miller passes right side. Pettersson tried a one-timer. His stick shattered too. There's lumber discarded all over the place in the Oilers zone, but Janmark gets it free to Kulak, and he clears it all the way back down the ice.
And that's the reason Lindholm was not on the ice there. His shot blocker fell off, so he had to go to the bench.
Canucks second power play unit out now with 30 seconds left in the man advantage. Hughes Suter winds his way to center. Right wing for Sam Lafferty. Into the Oiler end. Shift at right point. Hronek is tied up, and it's cleared back the other way by Ryan McLeod. Under a minute to go in the first. 1-1 tie. Canucks and Oilers. 15 seconds left of the Vancouver power play. Soucy to center. Drops to Pius Suter. Right wing for Hronek. Again to Suter. Tips it left side for Lafferty into the Edmonton zone. Near corner for Suter. Sent it behind the net. Hronek missed it. It rolls up the boards. Dakota Joshua on the back check. Battles with Warren Fogle, but the puck comes out to center. Nugent-Hopkins is out of the box, and the Canucks are 1 for 2 on the power play tonight. Carson Soucy delaying in his own zone. 30 seconds left in the period. Make sure to stay tuned for Satyar Shah, Bick Nazar, Brett Fesserling, and Canucks Central at the intermission coming up in moments. Ekholm back to the puck, near corner in his own end. Got it free to Bouchard. He was knocked down by Di Giuseppe. Here's Hyman to center. Middle of the ice for McDavid. 15 seconds left in the period. Left wing Draisaitl drops to Ekholm. Steps into a one-timer. Stopped by Shelovs. Rebound for Hyman. It was loose at the crease. He fired it off the outside of the goal. 5 seconds left. McDavid centers. It's loose in front, and Shelovs covers up in the blue paint as Hyman is cleared out of the slot by Zadorov. He's looking to the referees. He wants a penalty, but there are no arms in the air. And it's still a 1-1 tie with 3 seconds left in the opening period.
And there is no quit in Artur Shelovs as he makes that save, diving across the net. And there's a discussion here as the Canucks players are looking up at the ice as well, or the Jumbotron, excuse me, to see how that puck stayed out of the net as Zach Hyman had an excellent opportunity, but denied by Artur Shelovs. A couple of double saves in this first period by Shelovs. He's made 2 of them, and a high degree of difficulty on both.
Zach Hyman is still campaigning for a penalty, as I think he caught a high stick from Zadorov that went undetected in front of the net. So a potential bullet dodged for the Canucks, and there'll be one more face-off with 3 seconds left in the first. Miller and Draisaitl to take it, near circle to our right. As they get set up on the face-off, linesman Kyle Murchison making sure it's contested fairly. Draisaitl won it to Bouchard, one-timer in the slot, tipped off a stick wide of the net, thrown back out front by Hyman at the buzzer. But the first period comes to a close. Elias Pettersson opened the scoring for the Canucks on the power play. Leon Draisaitl equalized for the Oilers on the power play, and it's 1-1 after 1 in Game 2.
And plenty of talking going on in the ice here. Zach Hyman still lobbying for a penalty call, and Nikita Zadorov right next to him as he tries to convince the referee about that non-call. But this first period for the Canucks, some good things, of course, with the power play. They drew a couple of penalties. They score on one of those goals. Elias Pettersson gets on the board, but a couple of things to watch, especially zone time. Edmonton had 57% of the puck in the Vancouver zone, so essentially over 5 minutes of zone time. Canucks are absorbing a lot of pressure there, Batch, and that's the one thing you have to watch out for. You can't eat that much pressure against this Edmonton team. You're going to have to pay 5-on-5 eventually.
1-1 after one in Game 2, and it's time for Canucks Central at the intermission with Satyar Shah, Bick Nazar, and Brett Festerling.
This is Canucks Central at the intermission on the official home of the Canucks, Sportsnet 650 and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Coleman Lindholm are getting into it behind the place and pushing and shoving as the Canucks skate up ice. Here's Pettersson with speed, left wing to the Oiler line, drops to Miller, rink wide right point for Lindholm. Now to Hughes, middle of the ice to Miller, left circle, passes back door, Pettersson, he scores! Elias Pettersson has his first of the playoffs, and the Canucks score their first power play goal of the series. They take a 1-0 lead in Game 2.
Elias Pettersson finally on the board goal-wise in the postseason, and the Canucks and Oilers are tied at 1 through the first 20 minutes here in Game 2 at Rogers Arena between Canucks and Oilers. Satyar Shah, Brett Festerling, and Bick Nazar. And as always, get your thoughts into our Dunbar Lumber text inbox, 650-650. Overall, pretty even first period. However, as you would imagine, Edmonton, having lost Game 1, they loaded up their top line. Leon Draisaitl, despite being somewhat banged up, obviously, is playing with Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman. That line has been a load to handle. 5-on-5, the Canucks have done a pretty good job overall. The 2 goals that have happened have been on the power play for both teams. Let's go outside the Canucks locker room where we're joined by Dakota Joshua. And Dakota, you guys expected Edmonton to come out stronger here in Game 2. How did you guys feel about the way you played in the first?
Yeah, it was, not our best period. A little breakdown there on the power play goal that they got. But overall, 1-1 game. We're happy with it, and we'll keep plugging away here.
Feels like that physicality, the hate in the series starting to develop as well.
Yeah, for sure. That's going to build up over these long series. But, just playing hard between the whistles and making it as difficult as possible is our plan.
Hey, Dakota, thanks for your time, man. Best of luck rest of the game.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
That is Canucks forward Dakota Joshua. And he mentions the Canucks can be better. It wasn't like the Canucks had any real breakdowns 5-on-5, but like Randeep mentioned, there was a lot of zone time for Edmonton 5-on-5 in the Canucks zone. I thought the Canucks did a good job of keeping things to the outside for the most part. They weren't really breaking down, but you could see that McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman trio is very determined here tonight.
Yeah, they're dangerous every time they're on the ice. And you can see even the Canucks are a little, I don't want to say hesitant or backing off, but they're very aware that it's McDavid's line, especially McDavid. You see guys keeping McDavid in front of them, not necessarily chasing. McDavid does such a good job of turning off pressure, using other hits. Sedin's used to do that. They would hit guys, and then he uses the momentum to go to the net. So they're very aware. They're kind of passive a bit, letting him do his thing in the corner, not letting him get any momentum off the physicality.
Well, they're going to be out there because they were out there for 8 minutes in that first period. Yeah. Every time you looked up, it was 29, 97, 18 here in Game 2. Draisaitl, even with the injury, played 8:06. McDavid played 8:04. Hyman played 7:53. So those guys were out a ton. Obviously, the power play helps that, but yeah, you're going to see moments when they take the game over when they're out there for 8 minutes.
Yeah, and you can tell, obviously, it's a big spot here for them. And we talked before the game that in Game 1, Knobloch didn't really chase matchups. He didn't really look for opportunities. He kind of rolled through his 4 lines. And you saw him here tonight. Any chance he got to get those 3 guys out against anybody not named JT Miller, he did. You saw some of the best chances. Well, the best pressure I think they had was when they had a shift out against the 4th line. Now, give the Bluger line credit. They ended up icing the puck at a point, but kept it from getting scored on and ended up at least living to see another shift. But you see them being very aggressive and trying to find some soft spots here for that trio.
And to be honest, that 4th line and the zone time that they have had has been pushed to the outside. Yeah. And Canucks have done a good job about that. But then it's just the power play, right? You can't push them to the outside when you got 4 guys, and they're going to find their spaces, Brett.
Yeah, exactly. And that was that Beluga Mikheyev ended up out there for that one. They did look dangerous. Mikheyev did have a good stick. Mikheyev has some just today, but Yeah, if you take away a guy and they got more room, and you see McDavid, as soon as he gets the puck, he attacks that net. It draws all 4 Canucks in, and that just opens all those shooting opportunities.
Even when Hyman drew the penalty, there's just a wall of Canucks, right? It's Besser up top, Miller in the middle. I forget which. I think it was Soucy down low, and they're all eyes McDavid. He's got the puck out wide. He just kind of puts it through to a dangerous area, and Hyman ends up drawing the penalty on Myers.
Yeah, the Canucks have done a good job of boxing out, not letting Edmonton get to the middle. There's been some loose pucks there.
Sure.
The Canucks have been getting to them first and clearing those. Which
Everything's
is a big
been challenged.
Yeah, it's a big key here in this game. But let's break down how the Canucks opened the score and took the lead in this game. Elias Pettersson scoring on the power play. And, well, this one, they made some pretty quick work of the Edmonton Oilers PK on this spot.
Well, for me, the big adjustment here comes in the neutral zone. We talked about that stationary player, whether it's Miller at the blue line. He's stationary at the red line this time. And Quinn Hughes hits him early. No one's going to go pressure Miller there. And as just a different little machination for that power play to get a much easier entry, Pettersson gets in, drops it to Miller, and starts the whole sequence off.
Yeah, and I think they're carrying that speed through. Even when they are hitting a wide guy, they're carrying it through, at least giving an option where the guy can default to a dump in or something like that. But great, they're looking for that Miller downhill, right? We saw them automatic go to that. That opens up the seam, and eventually leaves a Pettersson one-timer.
Yeah, and great feed by JT Miller. And, I mean, Skinner is so committed. That's one of the things about Skinner, too. He's very aggressive coming out. You get that cross seam. There's a lot of space there. There's something Kevin Woodley spoke to us about with how aggressive Skinner is challenging. So if you're able to get that east-west pass, there's a lot of real estate there on the net. And they took advantage of it.
Yeah, I didn't see the miles per hour on PD's shot, but it wasn't like this bomb. It was I just have the whole net to work with. I just got to get it there. He picked the right spot.
Yeah, I think you give credit to Miller too, right? He kind of unplugs the controller there and just gives that second where
and it freezes everybody.
Yeah, it freezes everybody. Everybody thinks a shot's coming, and then he just holds on, gets through that seam. So really nice play by him.
Yeah, it's an incredible pass from JT Miller. Pettersson gets on the board, and the Edmonton Oilers, they also get on the board. It's on the power play as well. Now, the Canucks, I thought, and it's very similar to the penalty they almost killed off in game 1, where for about 90 seconds they get clears, they do some great work. This time they got a couple of clears, but it was Artur Shilov's, a couple of magnificent saves. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, he goes across. It looked like McDavid was going to score into a net. Makes a magnificent save. It's too bad that after making a few grade A saves, they got scored on later. But the PK did a lot of good. But what happens is Leon Draisaitl is a beast. And even though he's injured or whatever the case is, if you don't knock the puck off of him, he can make you pay. And that's one of the reasons they were able to score off that zone entry, and him fending off Dakota Joshua, who looked to almost have a beat on him, but he did a good job of spinning off that check, and a bit later ends up scoring.
Joshua definitely had a beat on him, but he just takes a bad angle for me. He gets above the puck, and Draisaitl just squeaks down the wall, and suddenly now you're behind him, and they've got their possession on the entry, and it kicks off this whole sequence. And I think it could have been delayed, could have been prevented, whatever it is, if Joshua was coming up the wall, squeezing him towards the blue line, Brett.
Yeah, and I think both sequences, even the one-timer comes off of Lindholm, come down on Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, just a little aggressive, right? They're just, you're doing that fine dance of, do I need to pressure? Do I need to go back? Do I need to fake pressure and hold off? And they just both get kind of aggressive, get burnt a bit, open some ice, and Edmonton's power play is deadly. You can see how fast they take open ice.
So I wanted to ask you, when they work that two-man game with McDavid and Draisaitl there, Soucy's in that spot, and it's not as if McDavid's got his back to play and so you can go ask for him. He's face up, and you're distance from the guy. As soon as you go to move, like it's too late at that stage. So I'm just curious, should Soucy go carry with Draisaitl? Because if he's diving towards the net, should he just go with him and then work to McDavid if McDavid comes in? Because it feels like that'd be the easier way to play that.
Yeah, the problem is if he comes in with Draisaitl, it opens the lane to Bouchard, who's having the one up top, right?
Of course, yeah.
But so it's a tough play. That's what they want. Those are the different progressions off it. You see they come low because of the first goal they scored in game 1. It was a 2-on-1 down low. Now Soucy comes back. It's 2-on-2 down low, but now it opens Draisaitl coming through that seam. So Soucy needs to play a kind of middle zone where you can get back to Connor. If he jams the net, you can reach a stick out to Draisaitl. if he needs to, and then just battle. But really, it's just trying to get in that middle zone to react, but they have all those options.
Well, the Canucks have had trouble kind of defending that play on the PK, the low to high or low to just in front of the net, and it's clear that's something Edmonton's looking to exploit, and they have so far in the 2 power play goals they scored.
I just feel like everyone kind of cut off a passing lane, and Bluger, I think it was Bluger, looked like he was trying to get to the Bouchard angle to take away, because look, that's dangerous too, and it's an option for McDavid. And in my reality here, I'm leaving Connor McDavid alone, which is terrifying in its own right. But
I think you're right.
I just wonder if Soucy can play that a little bit differently. He's put in a bind, of course, and this is what that power play will do to you.
I think you go to that middle spot, keep Draisaitl in front of you. If McDavid does look like he's going to go to the net, that's when you got to collapse.
Right.
Have Beluga help out, get the Draisaitl, and then if they want to try to throw a blind backhand to Bouchard, that's it. Easier said than done, but you probably need to keep Draisaitl in front of you.
Yeah, well, the Canucks, see if they get on the PK. Last game, Edmonton only had 1 power play opportunity, but Edmonton in that first period was really working the referees. Almost every time there was something somewhat contentious, they're after the referees on them, almost begging for that second call. So we'll see what happens with the whistles here the rest of this game. The Canucks had a second power play opportunity as well. This one did not go nearly as well as the first one did. Had trouble getting set up for the most part. The first unit had a good chance, similar to the goal Pettersson scores. Pass comes across, but this time on the one-timer, doesn't have as much open net to shoot at, but unfortunately his stick breaks on the one-time attempt.
And especially when there was a broken stick already on the ice, and you thought, hey, this is a chance to take advantage. Good work by the Oilers to go back and get a fourth stick, but yeah, just unlucky.
Yeah, there's shrapnel everywhere on the ice there. Yeah, I think they did a good job actually battling and trying to get pucks better. I like the power play looks like it's taking just what they give them more instead of that kind of set positions, which was good, but it wasn't as clear cut as the first for sure.
The officiating, obviously a point of conversation, even for the texters right now, texting in. The nurse hit on Pettersson. So I think he makes contact with the hip, and there's an elbow obviously on the numbers, and he crumples a bit weird. The thing that I have issue with, and Brett, you were quick on this as well, nurse throws an elbow on a second go-around right at Pettersson's head, and it's not like subtle. You can see the white separate from the body on his jersey and go right to Pettersson's head. That is a huge miss there.
Yeah, I don't exactly know what the refs are looking at, because it's obvious that there is a violent hit there. I don't think that's an illegal hit. I think it is hit, just like you say. It's unfortunate the way he goes in the wall, obviously. But yeah, it seems like a clear-cut elbow to me. I don't know how that's not called.
With a ton of intent behind it. It'd be one thing, it's like you just battle and an elbow comes up. There's no other intention there outside of raising the elbow.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one too. Should have been called. It wasn't. Canucks do have 2 power play opportunities, 1 for Edmonton. So far in the series, 2 for Edmonton, 5 for Vancouver. We'll see what happens here in the second. Sean from North Van says, what is the status of number 57? Did he play after the injury? So Tyler Myers gets into a collision, stayed on the ice for a bit. Now he got up and knocked the puck free off of Derek Ryan's stick. We had a chance to shoot afterwards, but I don't think he came back after that hit. He was on the bench and looked to be in some discomfort.
It was initiated by the hit he threw. I think it was on Janmark. The last 7 minutes and 13 seconds he did not play, so something to monitor if they're down to 5 deep.
Yeah, something to keep an eye on. Keep your thoughts coming into our Dunbar Lumber text inbox, 650-650. This one here says, Sat PD is getting 2 and an assist, 4-3 Canucks. That's a prediction coming in. We'll see if that holds true. It's Sat, Brett, and Bick. We'll be back for the second intermission, but next it is your second period call. Brendan Batchelor and Randeep Janda, Canucks and Oilers tied at 1 in Game 2 here at Rogers Arena. They're next in the home of your Canucks, Sportsnet 650.
Your business is more than just numbers. It's years of hard work, dreams, and passion. But in the midst of the hustle, have you taken the time to understand its true worth? Crow's trusted advisors can help. With global expertise across a wide variety of industries, let Crow uncover the real value of your business. Redefine your company's success. Visit crowmackay.ca to learn more. Crow. Smart decisions, lasting value.
BCers love hockey, and they also love burgers. What's even better is saving 20% off takeout during the playoffs. Order White Spot online and save 20% off with code SAVE20. Not valid on May 12th, June 16th, or on pirate packs and alcohol. Only at whitespot.ca.
Step up to the all season long on Sportsnet Plus. Plans start at $19.99 a month.
Boy, oh boy, this is premium stuff.
Subscribe now at sportsnetplus.ca.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, Skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Angry Otter Liquor, you're at home here.
It's playoff time across BC, and Angry Otter Liquor is thrilled to rally with hockey fans on the road to the Cup. Score big at Angry Otter Liquor, your ultimate hockey headquarters. Ice-cold game day beer, spirits for every level of team spirit, and snacks to fuel your victory celebrations. Explore game day essentials with Angry Otter Liquor and celebrate every win with the perfect drink. You don't have to be a member, but it pays to be one. Learn more at angryotterliquor.crs.
As you get ready for hunting season, whether your game is bear or anything else, it's time to head to Siwash Sports. Rifles, shotguns, optics, accessories, ammo, whatever you need, Siwash has it. Get your guns serviced or upgrade your gear with brands you trust. They even have 410 in stock, as well as paintball, pellet, and airsoft gear. At BC's newest Browning and Winchester dealer, the Fraser Valley's Siwash Sports, in Chilliwack and online at siwashsports.ca.
How many emails, text messages, notifications for calendar reminders of meetings you don't want to go to are all waiting for you to deal with right now? Well, your legendary escape from it all awaits. The number 5 orange is open right now. That's a meeting invite worth accepting. Pregame, postgame, even during the game. The number 5 orange.
Hey, it's Satyar Shah from Sportsnet 650. Wildfires have the power to drastically change lives in BC, and as wildfires become more frequent and intense, we can all take proactive measures to protect our province, our homes, and our communities. BCAA and FireSmart BC have joined forces to help educate British Columbians in wildfire prevention and preparedness. Get FireSmart with BCAA and FireSmart BC. For tips and resources, visit bcaa.com/firesmart.
Cuts in front again, doing laps in the San Jose zone. Quinn Hughes shoots, he scores! And that goal was all Quinn Hughes.
Hey, Rogers customers and hockey fans. Rogers wants you to win big this Stanley Cup playoffs.
The Canucks are off and running. Well, what a heads-up play here by Quinn Hughes.
You could win a VIP trip to the Stanley Cup final, plus hundreds of prizes, courtesy of Rogers Beyond the Sea. For your chance to win, visit rogers.com/Stanley Cup. That's rogers.com/Stanley Cup.
Hey, this is Thatcher Demko.
CC with a one-timer. Good save by Demko down low. Rebound chance for Evander Kane. Demko stopped that, too.
And you're on the home of the Canucks, Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back inside Rogers Arena. Brendan Batchelor and Randeep Janda with you. The Canucks and Oilers are tied at 1 after 1 in Game 2. Vancouver leads the series 1-0, and that was a first period dominated by the Oilers' top line of Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and Zach Hyman.
They were buzzing in the offensive zone. There was also a lot of shot attempts, 13-2, when that top line for Edmonton, that loaded up top line, was on the ice. But the good thing for the Canucks is that the high danger chances, 3-1 in their favor, so they're eating a lot of pressure, but still doing a good job of limiting the high danger chances for that top line. But Batch, you cannot hang out in your own zone. You have to make sure that you establish the forecheck, set up your own zone time. Otherwise, you're playing with fire. When that line is on the ice, you got to make sure that you're playing in the neutral zone or preferably in the offensive zone.
Meanwhile, a development for the Canucks, Tyler Myers has not come out onto the ice to start the second period. He didn't have a shift in the first after falling heavily into the sideboards far wall in the Vancouver end. So Canucks down to 5 defensemen for the moment. We'll keep you updated on that situation. Canucks in blue going from left to right in the second. The Oilers in white skating from right to left. And the puck is dumped into the Edmonton zone. Desharnais back to the puck. Took a hit from Höglander. Got it free to Brett Kulak. He'll skate left wing to center and clear it into the Vancouver zone. Hughes back to the puck. Tied up by Ryan on the forecheck. Hronek got it free for Pettersson. Far side Niels Höglander has time. Settles the puck and he'll skate it out to center himself. Höglander left wing for Mikheyev. Chips it into the Oilers zone. Höglander's onto it. Behind the Edmonton net. cleared it right corner, lost it to Kulak, who gave it right back, and now Pettersson and Höglander are digging away for it below the goal line. It comes up front to Pettersson. Fend on a shot. It rolls through the slot to the far boards. Hughes down the wall, couldn't chip it deep. Derek Ryan passes to Dylan Holloway. He was poke checked by Hughes at his own blue line, couldn't get it to center, but now Janmark passes left wing. Kulak missed it, and it's icing against Edmonton. 49 seconds into the second period, the Canucks and Oilers are tied at 1.
And this is an early chance for Vancouver, as that Oilers line of Janmark, Ryan, and Holloway is tired after that icing, even though it's the beginning of the second period. And there is a penalty here as well.
I think coincidental penalties, as Derek Ryan has gone to the Oiler box. And Höglander and Ryan got engaged. And then Derek Ryan speared Niels Höglander between the legs. And he's incredibly lucky. That's not a major penalty.
Very lucky in the crowd. You can hear behind us as well as they're reacting to that play. That's a dirty play. And that's exactly why Niels Höglander was in pain on the bench. Rick Tocchet wanting an explanation on why it could have been more. That was not a hockey play, to say the least.
That is a play that could see supplemental discipline.
Absolutely.
Probably not a suspension, but certainly a fine. As he went right up between the legs with the toe of his stick blade.
And that's undisciplined by the Edmonton Oilers, but for Vancouver, this is a great opportunity where now you have a chance to strike on the power play, but it's actually coincidental, excuse me.
Soucy takes a shot for the line, tip, they score! The Canucks get their second goal at 4-on-4 in as many games, and this one's tipped home by Brock Besser. It's his team leading fifth of the playoffs, so the Canucks lead 2-1.
And it comes off the face-off win by JT Miller, goes straight to the point, and Carson Soucy gets the shot through, and there's a double layer of a screen there as well, trying to go for the tip. First, it's Brock Besser, as Miller was also driving the net, but Besser gets the tip to beat Stuart Skinner, and Carson Soucy getting that shot off, but that starts with the face-off win batch to make it 2-1 Vancouver.
The goal by Brock Besser comes 53 seconds into the second period to give the Canucks the 2-1 lead. The time of the goal is brought to you by Crow, your trusted advisors. For 55 years, learn more at crowmackay.ca. Lots of open ice here at 4-on-4. Soucy behind his own goal. Clears far corner for Zadorov. Couldn't get it out. Draisaitl has it down low. Passes into the slot. Ekholm scores! Matthias Ekholm with a one-time snapshot middle of the ice. And the Oilers answer right back to tie the game at 2.
A very quick response by the Edmonton Oilers, and the top line does damage as they collapse down to the front of the net behind the goal line, being aggressive on the forecheck, which allows Ekholm to kind of sneak forward. As the Oilers catch up to Carson Soucy, there's a giveaway by Zadorov, and Leon Draisaitl makes the pass, gets a little lucky bounce as it falls onto the stick of Matthias Ekholm, and it's a 2-2 game now, as Ekholm has another goal, had one goal in game 1, and now a second goal in this series to make it 2-2. Just less than 2 minutes into this period.
Meanwhile, Tyler Myers has returned to the Vancouver bench as the Oilers tie the game at 2 with a goal just 23 seconds after the Besser marker for the Canucks. And it's a 2-all tie. The goal by Ekholm at 1:16 of the second period. Time of the goal brought to you by Crow, your trusted advisors for 55 years. Learn more at crowmackay.ca. Canucks dump it back into the Oilers zone. Lindholm laid a hit on Ceci in the corner, but the Oiler defenseman gets it out to center nonetheless. Hronek leaves at his own line for Quinn Hughes. Canucks will change. Hughes to center for Ilya Mikheyev, picking up speed to the Oiler line, left wing, drives wide on Ceci. Stops at the hash marks, feeds the line for Hughes, left point. Quinn Hughes down the boards, gets around Hyman, into the corner, spins back up the wall, try to backhand pass to Mikheyev at the slot. He turns and shoots. It was blocked off Hyman's stick. Gloved to the boards by Nurse. Ceci plays it back behind his own net to the near wall, but Hronek, charging down the boards, holds in the zone. Hronek behind the Oiler net, left wing side to the line for Miller. Now to the right point for Ian Cole. Cole banks it to Pettersson, missed it near circle. Miller skates onto it, trying to drive to the front of the net. Good poke check by Nugent Hopkins to knock the puck away. And the Oilers get it out to center ice with 15 seconds left in 4-on-4 action here. Teams have traded goals early in this second period. It's tied at 2 in game 2.
Of course, that equalizing goal was a bit of a letdown, but the Canucks have responded well, a lot more in the offensive zone to start off the second period.
Here's Brock Besser, center ice circle. Poke check by Bouchard, has to feed back into his own end for Ian Cole. Cole banked it up the far side. Besser lifts the stick of Bouchard, got it out of the zone. Bouchard gave him a slash in the hands as McDavid drives back in left wing. Low shot kicked out by Shelovs. McDavid got it back, trying to pass into the slot. Perry missed it, and DiGiuseppe clears it off the wall and out to center. It is now 5-on-5. Ekholm from his own line dumped it into the Vancouver zone. Ian Cole tried to clear, gave it away to Draisaitl. Leon Draisaitl down the left wing. Leaves near point for Matthias Ekholm. Pressured by Besser. He's knocked down by Cole. Besser gets the puck and clears it off the boards and out to center. Draisaitl back to it. Leaves it his own line for Bouchard. Tried a rink-wide pass, tipped out of play off the stick of Brock Besser. 3:27 gone in the second period. Canucks and Oilers tied at 2 in game 2.
A couple of great defensive plays on both sides as JT Miller trying to get to the middle of the ice, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins comes back to make a play on the other side. Connor McDavid takes a shot, and there's an excellent opportunity as the trailer is Corey Perry, but Connor Garland makes a very good play to just break it up and make sure that the Edmonton Oilers could not keep possession. So forwards on both sides playing well defensively.
Canucks win the faceoff. Soucy gets it left wing to center. DiGiuseppe at the red line, can't chip it past Desharnais. Evander Kane back into the Vancouver zone. Left wing, Warren Foegele with a shot high slot. Shelov's had trouble with it, made the save, then takes a snow shower from Foegele. Driving the goal, looking for a rebound, and as you might expect, that will draw a crowd.
And this series is starting to get nasty. I thought game 1 was pretty chill in a lot of ways. You didn't necessarily see too much animosity, a couple of big hits, but now, really at the end of that first period where Zach Hyman felt he should have had a penalty call against Nikita Zadorov, there's a lot of chatting. And that play now by Derek Ryan on Niels Höglander has probably ratcheted up the anger a little bit more. A lot more chippiness being seen here in the second period.
Face-off near circle in the Vancouver zone, won by Lafferty against McLeod. Zadorov behind his own goal, was tied up by Foegele, but Soucy's in to help out, and he clears the middle of the ice for Lafferty. With speed to the Oiler line, chips it past Kulak. Tries to get in on the forecheck. Kulak impeded him just enough that the Oilers are able to get the puck, and Foegele goes far corner for Desharnais. Pushed into the boards by Lafferty. Desharnais got it out to center nonetheless. Zadorov at his own line, chips it free for Soucy. Nice pass up the left wing for Bluger. Into the Edmonton end. Bluger passes far circle. DiGiuseppe tried to drop it into the slot. Garland was after the puck. Was tied up by Henrique on the back check. And Adam Henrique passes to center for the Oilers. Evander Kane to the red line, dumps it in. Hronik's back to it on the end wall. Steps out of the way of a hit attempt by Kane, but the Oilers recover. Henrique tried to cycle behind the net. Hronik batted the puck out of midair to break up the cycle, and now Garland passes to center for Lindholm, who dumps it into the Edmonton end. Joshua on the forecheck, plays a hit on CC on the end boards, and comes up with the puck. Joshua left corner, goes down the wall to Garland, spins off a check. Back to the point for Myers. Now to the right side, Quinn Hughes. Hughes passes left circle. Garland one-timer, he fanned on it. It went wide of the net. Myers holds in right point. Cycles it to the end wall again. Nurse after it is just possessed by Garland. Good job on the forecheck. Garland tied up by Henrique in the corner. Puck comes free to Corey Perry. He plays it middle of the ice, but Hughes holds in again. Try to pass right circle. It was behind Joshua. Garland's after it down low. Battling with Darnell Nurse, who got it free to Corey Perry. Tries a rink-wide pass for Ceci. He's tied up by Suter, but got it out to center nonetheless, and Dylan Holloway clears to the Vancouver blue line.
Much better from the Vancouver Canucks. Being aggressive on the forecheck, Dakota Joshua causes Ceci to turn over the puck, and that's what creates ozone time and chances.
JT Miller, right wing to center, tried to dump it in, but it goes clean over the glass and out of play. And then Miller knocks the stick out of McDavid's hands after the whistle as the battle outside of the whistles between these two teams continues. 5:24 into the second period. The Canucks and Oilers are tied at 2 in game 2.
The game within the game, and that's continuing as Connor McDavid is chatting with the officials as he's going for a skate. There's a lot of chatting between the whistles here. Both teams chatting with officials, trying to get that last word in, especially the Edmonton Oilers. A lot of communication going on there. I'm not going to say complaining because I can't hear them, but I'm suspecting some complaining going on.
I'm sure they're just making dinner reservations. Hey, where are you going?
Great weather outside, huh?
It was a beautiful day in Vancouver today, wasn't it? As Suter dumps it into the Oilers zone. Besser on the forecheck. Pins Ekholm to the end wall. Draisaitl back to the puck. Pushed off it by JT Miller. Came down low to Besser, tried to cycle up the boards. Draisaitl broke it up, and he clears it out of the zone himself. Hronek at his own line. Across to Soucy, far boards, lifts it in deep around the glass again. Miller on the near side. Plays it away from Draisaitl into the corner. Ekholm back to Battlethorpe. Played it loose to Leon Draisaitl up the near side. Draisaitl, left wing to center. Goes rink wide for Bouchard, up in the rush. Into the Vancouver zone, high slot McDavid. Near side for Bouchard. But Suter is in the passing lane. Bouchard has to chase it to the boards. Now goes back to Kulak off the bench. He'll spin into the right corner. And lead for Leon Draisaitl. Now to McDavid, right circle. Makes a move, trying to cut to the middle of the ice. Suter did a good job filling the lane. Now Bouchard tries a shot pass. Tips to McDavid, left circle. He's forced wide by Hughes behind the net. Centering pass. Draisaitl missed on a clean shooting chance from the right circle, and it caroms off the end boards and back to center ice.
And they've looked for that play a lot tonight, even halfway through this game. That's how Draisaitl scored, coming down the right-hand side to the middle of the ice. As McDavid freestyles a bit, very dangerous on that play.
Canucks doing a good job keeping him to the outside for the most part, though. As Evander Kane left wing, tried a centering pass. Tipped away from Nugent Hopkins, but Pettersson couldn't clear. Evander Kane, left corner to the right point for Desharnais. Fanned as he tried to dump it in. Gave it away to Hughes. Nice pass right wing to center. Here's Höglander to the Oiler line. Sends it in front. Pettersson trying to sweep at it. It was just out of his reach, and it rolled in on Skinner, who tipped it to the far corner. Mikheyev gets behind the net for Pettersson. In front, Höglander, one-time chance at the back door, and Skinner makes a great save coming across to his right. And there's a big crowd in front of the net again. Pettersson taking gloved shots to the face from Evander Kane. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins had Höglander in a headlock. Mikheyev is tied up by Desharnais. After some good work by the Pettersson line, they've been strong tonight in the offensive zone, but they couldn't cash in on that opportunity. 7:10 into the second period. Canucks and Oilers are tied at 2 in Game 2 on Alpine Credits Canucks Playoff Hockey on Sportsnet 650 and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Treat yourself to something tasty anytime at Max's Bakery and Deli. For breakfast, enjoy decadent pastries and, of course, coffee. For lunch, soup, salads, and sandwiches are seriously tasty favorites. And for lunch or dinner, Max's Deli case is stocked with 60 freshly made meals and savories. Eat at a cozy table or take it with you. Grab a treat at Max's Bakery and Deli, Vancouver's ultimate sweet escape. Open daily 6:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. at 3105 Oak Street. Online at maxsdeli.ca.
As BC's favorite team continues their playoff run, visit any Tiletown location and receive 20% off any regular priced in-stock tile. Locally owned and operated since 1971, Tiletown offers free design and consultation, do-it-yourself supplies, and their Schluter certified staff have the knowledge to help you with your project. Get started today at Tiletown. Visit them at any one of their 3 locations in Victoria, Richmond, and Langley, and online at mytiletown.ca.
Thursdays on City TV.
Find me a body.
Start with Law & Order at 7, featuring Tony Goldwyn as the new district attorney.
I need to know that I have a team I can trust.
Then, it's the smash hit, Law & Order Toronto, Criminal Intent at 8.
The case is a slam dunk.
Followed by SVU at 9.
I'm on my way.
And Organized Crime at 10.
I just want the truth.
Law & Order Thursday. A lineup so stacked, it's almost criminal. It all starts at 7 on City TV.
Hey, this is Rick Tocchet, and you're on the home of the Canucks, Sportsnet 650.
You're listening to Alpine Credits Canucks Playoff Hockey on Sportsnet 650 and the Sportsnet Radio Network. Own your home. Alpine Credits can get your loan approved. Alpine Credits homeowners get approved. Visit alpinecredits.ca. 7:10 into the second period tonight in Vancouver. It's a 2-2 game. The Canucks and the Oilers in Game 2. Vancouver leads the series 1-0. Face off in the Edmonton end. To our right in the far circle. Canucks fourth line out there against the Oilers fourth line. Or a hybrid line anyway. It's Perry, Henrique, and Ryan for Edmonton, but the Canucks win the draw. Hughes spinning at the point, holds in. Dumps it behind the Oiler net. Lafferty and Ceci battling for it. DiGiuseppe in to help out. Is tied up by Derek Ryan, left corner. DiGiuseppe protecting it on the boards. Got it to Lafferty behind the net. Protecting the puck down low. Nurse after him. Pushes him to the wall. Bluger in to help out. Fights it free to Hronek, right point. Now to the left side for Hughes. Long wrist shot. Tipped. Stopped by Skinner. Rebound for Lafferty. Skinner robbed him again with the left pad. What a save from the Oiler netminder on the secondary opportunity for Lafferty as he tried to tuck it past the pad and into the net. And Stuart Skinner sprawled out to keep it out. It's still 2-2. Nurse with it in his own zone. As the team's complete changes, McDavid's on the ice for Edmonton. Nurse. Left wing for Perry. Dumps it to the end boards. Hronek back to it. Chased down by McDavid. Keeps the puck. Gets it around the far wall to Pius Suter. He directs it out to center for Teddy Bluger. Bluger gains the red line and dumps it in. And Besser will chase it on the forecheck while the Canucks complete a change. Ekholm back to the puck. Got it out to center. Draisaitl's pinned to the boards by Tyler Myers. Susie gets it free to Suter. He'll deflect it left corner. Skinner out of the net to handle. Chips it to Bouchard. But Skinner steals it. Or Suter, I should say. Steals it on the forecheck. Easy for me to say. Draisaitl comes up with the puck and clears it to center. Pius Suter for the Canucks dumps it back in. Ekholm threw it up the board. Suter knocks it down. Left wing to Besser. Back to Suter. Top of the circle. Now to the line for Susie. Fanned on a wrist shot. McDavid steals it. He's out to center. Chance for a 2-on-1. Connor McDavid down the right wing. Is poke check by Susie on the back check. Knocked the puck to the corner. With Draisaitl and McDavid on the 2-on-1, Carson Soucy comes up with a huge defensive play, and the Canucks get it out of the zone. Suter kicks it to the Oiler line.
Canucks fans appreciate good hockey, and that was a heck of a recovery by Carson Soucy.
Now here's Hyman, right wing into the Vancouver zone. Centers for Draisaitl. It rolled off his stick into the left corner. He's hit hard into the boards by Dakota Joshua. And Elias Lindholm gets it out to center. Left wing to the red line. Lindholm into the Oilers zone. Right circle. Forced wide by Kulak. Knocked the puck off his stick. But Ian Cole keeps it in right side. Behind the net for Connor Garland. Centering. Pass knocked away from the front of the net by Brett Kulak. Joshua far corner. Pinned to the boards by Hyman, who's able to lift it high in the air and out to center. And Ian Cole's back to it at the red line. Cole dumps it in off a skate. Skinner leaves his crease. As we near the midway mark, second period, the game tied at 2. Hoglander comes up with it left wing. Down low to Garland, tight angle shot. I think that might have hit Skinner in the side of the mask, but he held it out. And Brett Kulak passes to Hyman. Right wing at center. He couldn't gain the red line. Cleared it into the Vancouver zone. Kulak after it on the forecheck. Chips it deep, and he's run over by Ian Cole deep in the zone. Physical play ratcheting up here in the second half of the second period. Nugent Hopkins right corner. Cole forcing him to the boards. Nugent Hopkins protecting the puck. Gets it free to the line for Kulak. Left point, Desharnais. Wrist shot intentionally wide. Deflects behind the goal. Ian Cole plays up the far side. Held in by Kulak. For Warren Fogle, high slot. Shot while he was falling and missed the net. Evander Kane gets it left wing side. Kane trying to pass it to the slot. Gave it away to Hoglander. He'll skate to center with speed. Niels Hoglander to the Oiler line. Dumps it in. And his first to it on the forecheck behind the net. Chips it around to the near boards. Evander Kane after it. Tied up on the wall by Hoglander. Pedersen battling for it on the boards. Hoglander's in there too. And gets it deep behind the Edmonton net. Desharnais back to it. Chased down by McKayen. Passes near side for Nurse. Oilers will break out to center. Darnell Nurse to the Vancouver line. Long shot grabbed and held by Sheelovs. Nurse tries to crash the crease. Joshua and Hronek box him out, and here's another crowd as Joshua's helmet is knocked to the ice. And linesman Kyle Murchison and Brandon Garrelitz are certainly earning their keep in this game tonight with 9:01 left in the second. And the Canucks and the Oilers tied at 2. You're listening to Alpine Credits Canucks Playoff Hockey, streaming on the Sportsnet app and along the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Coming soon, genetically modified super soldiers encased in armor with powerful jaws, capable of infiltrating any structure and rendering it to dust. Hundreds, thousands of them. Ants. Protect your home with Westside Pest Control. Westside Pest Control has the tools and know-how to eliminate your ant problem. Stop the destruction. WestsidePestControl.com.
Your feet, the silent workhorses of your body. They've danced you through life's highs, sprinted you through challenges, even stood firm on the green for that last putt. But even the strongest of supporters need support. That's where Kintec comes in, not just with shoes, but with custom orthotics that ensure every step is aligned and comfortable. Visit kintec.net and discover how orthotics can transform your every step.
Hey, this is
Connor Garland.
It's 4-0 Canucks with 6:41 left in the second.
And you're on the home of the Canucks, Sportsnet Radio Network.
Jack 96.9 is playing whatever, and they're giving away tickets to every Canucks home playoff game. Tune in to Jack weekday mornings for your chance to win. Just tell your smart speaker to play Jack 96.9. And a special hello to all our listeners on the island listening on Jack 103.1 in Victoria. 9:01 left in the second period. Canucks and Oilers tied at 2 in Game 2. Brendan Batchelor and Randeep Janda with you from the Jim Robson broadcast gondola at Rogers Arena. Face-off coming up in the Canucks zone to our left near circle. It's the top line of the Oilers out there. Lindholm, Suter, and Miller for the Canucks, and it'll be Lindholm and Draisaitl to contest the draw. Shots are even at 11 apiece in the game. No 5-on-5 goals yet. Teams traded power play goals in the first period. They traded 4-on-4 goals here in the second period. And now Suter gets it out to center. Looked like that might have hit the camera as it changed directions oddly, but play continues as the Oilers clear it back to the line, and Myers gets it off the glass all the way down. This will be icing against Vancouver with 8:43 now left in the second period.
And one of the stories coming out of Game 1 was how the Canucks dominated the face-off circle. Knobloch, the coach of the Edmonton Oilers, cited that as well, saying, yeah, they did a great job. They're one of the better teams in the league. The Canucks are in the face-off circle tonight. The Oilers have won 53%, and Elias Lindholm, who was 78% in Game 1, is 33% in the face-off circle tonight. So the Oilers dominating as of right now.
It's Lindholm and Draisaitl this time to the right of Shelovs in the Vancouver end. Draisaitl's going to be thrown out of the circle, so McDavid will step in instead. Lindholm wins it to Myers, goes behind his own net for Soucy up the far side. Cleared it out to center only as far as Ekholm. He leaves it his own line for Bouchard, who dumps it back in on the left wing. JT Miller, far corner, goes behind his own net. Myers laid ahead, down low on McDavid, pins him to the boards. Puck is caught up in skates. McDavid kicks it free near side. It comes to Draisaitl. He'll sweep it back to the line for Mattias Ekholm. Pressured by Suter, took a long shot. It was blocked in front by Myers, wide of the net. Miller gets it far side. Delays at his own line, passes rink wide near boards for Myers, who gains the center ice red line, is hit by McDavid and dumps it in. Ekholm behind his own goal, near side for Draisaitl. Quick strike counterattack from the Oilers. Leon Draisaitl, left wing to the Vancouver line, drops to Bouchard, late into the zone. He leaves left point, is forced out of the zone by Bluger, brought it back in, and it's offside against Edmonton. And Di Giuseppe and Bouchard come together after the whistle and have to be separated by the linesman with 7:51 left in the middle frame, and Game 2 tied at 2.
And one of those challenges with the Edmonton Oilers is that when you go on a line change, you think you've got the puck deep enough. The top line doesn't change. They stay out there. They're looking for that quick up to attack the other way, and that's what just happened with Draisaitl and McDavid. You got to make sure, especially in the second period, when you have that long change, that it's a clean one. Otherwise, McDavid and Draisaitl can go back real quick the other way.
Face off at the Canuck blue line near boards to our left. Won by McLeod against Lafferty. Back to Darnell Nurse. He goes right side for Cody Ceci, who clears it behind the Canuck goal. Hronek on the near boards, missed it. McLeod throws it out front. It's loose in the crease. Shelovs makes the save. It is able to cover up, but there's Corey Perry to try and dig away at it. And Archer Shelovs did well on a puck just thrown into his crease out of the left wing corner.
And that is Corey Perry's office right in front of the blue paint. Trying to out-muscle Quinn Hughes, but Hughes does a good job of just boxing out just enough that Shelovs has that extra second to make the save and ensures that he seals the bottom of that net, gets it with the stick first, and then gets the glove right on top of it.
7:43 remaining in the middle frame in Game 2. Make sure to join us for Game 3 in this series coming up on Sunday at Rogers Place in Edmonton. It'll be a 6:30 Pacific time face-off. Pre-game show beginning at 4:30 for the weekend game on Sportsnet 650 and along the network here. Oilers with a face-off of the Vancouver zone. McLeod fanned on a shooting chance in the slot, and Ian Cole gets it out to center. Oilers dump it back into the Vancouver end. Zadorov far corner, battling with McLeod. Cole gets it free, up the wall for McHale. Dumps it back to the end boards. Ian Cole down low, centering pass, tipped out to center by Höglander. from the wrong side of the red line, but icing's waved off, and Nurse has to go back to it. Canucks were confused, as were the Oilers. Everybody thought that was going to be icing. And Nurse on the breakout, passes left wing to center for Kane. To the Vancouver line, tied up by Hronek, hit by Joshua. It rolls in deep, and Hughes behind his own goal. Takes a bump from Fogle, who tries to drive out front, but the puck rolled off his stick, and Garland leaves down low for Hughes. He'll drop it back behind the net for Hronek. Hronek chased out the far side by Kane, got it ahead to Garland. He'll clear to center. Desharnais tried to D-to-D pass at his own line, lost it, but it rolled up the boards to Fogle, and he'll play it back to Brett Kulak anyway. Kulak banks it left wing to the Canuck line. Hronek back to it in his own zone. Throws it across to the far wall for Quinn Hughes. Rink wide pass right wing to center for Besser. In stride. Into the Oilers zone. Forced wide by Nugent Hopkins. Dumped in behind the net. And Kulak plays to the far corner for Desharnais. Back to Kulak. Directs it out to center. Kane shifts it to the Canuck line. Nugent Hopkins on the left wing is crunched into the boards by Myers as he dumps it in. Hughes Suter far boards. Battling for it. Warren Fogle in there as well. Hughes in to get it, makes a nice move around McDavid out to center, gains the red line on left wing, dumps it in, but clears it straight over the glass and out of play. With 6:08 remaining in this second period, it's 2-2 in Game 2 between the Vancouver Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers, an all-Canadian second-round matchup.
And what a move that was by Quinn Hughes on Connor McDavid. Looks like he's going towards the center of the ice and then cuts back to the left-hand side. That's a move on one of the best skaters in the game, which Quinn Hughes is also, so that shows you the high skill and really how far this game has come as well. Even 5 or 6 years ago, you don't see a play like that in the NHL. Forget Vancouver, I'm talking about the league. High skill from Quinn Hughes.
A little bit of a delay here. JT Miller has a bit of an equipment issue that he's trying to get corrected at center ice. Problem with his right shin pad, it looks like, but he's got that sorted. Scramble draw with McDavid, and Connor McDavid knocks it forward to the Vancouver line. He was taken down by Miller, and the Canucks clear it back the other way. 6 minutes left, second period, 2-all tie in Game 2. Here's Hughes Suter, left wing center, and pass for Lindholm in the slot, just out of his reach. He poked it to the near corner, and Draisaitl's back to the puck. Tries a stretch pass to the Vancouver line. Hyman chips it free. Shilov's out of the goal. Sweeps it to the far boards. And Hughes Suter trying to clear the zone. Clears it into the Oiler bench. Then he's run over by Hyman after the whistle. And here's a big crowd on the far boards. Myers puts Hyman in a headlock. And he's going to get called for a penalty. They've taken Tyler Myers out of the pile here. And I think this is going to be an Oiler power play with this scrum still continuing in the Vancouver zone. And we'll see what penalties result here, but this might be Edmonton's third power play, or second power play, excuse me, of the game.
And this scrum is still going. There's aggressors on both sides. If anything, it should be Myers and Hyman probably being given coincidental minors here. But we'll see. This one's getting nasty.
5:44 left in the second period of Game 2. It's tied at 2 between the Canucks and the Oilers, as the officials have restored order here, and we'll get the penalty situation sorted out when we return. You're listening to Alpine Credits Canucks Playoff Hockey on Sportsnet 650 and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Carter Honda is on the bandwagon, and it's game time, saving the best deals for the playoffs. Lease a new Honda Civic or HR-V from just 3.49% with plenty of stock to choose from. Or lease the award-winning CR-V from just 2.99%. And yes, that includes the CR-V hybrid model. Come in and ask about the playoff package at Carter Honda, 8th and Burrard, and CarterHonda.com. Let's go!
What are you reading?
The email with detailed pricing on Parksville 96 in Surrey. This is awesome, and they're on sale now.
Are you going for the luxury package or the investor pricing?
One of each. A place to live and a mortgage helper down the road.
I can't believe the location and amenities. The park, SkyTrain, and so much to do right in the building.
And I can walk to work at the hospital and save a ton on gas and commuting time.
Let's do it.
On a team, the guys scoring are just as important as the guys stopping the other side from doing the same. That's how the West Coast Auto Group has built their elite team.
At West Coast Toyota, Mazda, Nissan, Kia, and Ford Lincoln, the cars are the offense, and their great service department is the defense, preventing breakdowns and keeping you in the game. Elite from top to bottom. The West Coast Auto Group, just over the bridge in Maple Ridge. Visit them online at westcoastautogroup.com.
Hey, this is Brock Besser, and you're on the home of the Canucks, Sportsnet 650.
Get your tickets for the Canucks online 50-50 draw. Go to Canucks.com.
Hey Insiders, thanks for joining us again for more Stanley Cup playoffs action. What a night we had last night in the Vancouver game, and thank you to everybody who reached out via the emails, the text messages, the DMs on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you for reaching out. You guys said you wanted these games, so here we are. Then I put the poll up and it was 95% to 5%. So here we are. I'm going to do as many games as I can right here on TSI going through these playoffs, and we're going to cheer on the Canadian teams and whoever else that we're going for the night of. So thanks for being here. Don't forget to hit that like button, and as well, if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, and let's help us get over 18,000 as we come in tonight with the two matchups between the Rangers and the Hurricanes and the Avs and Stars. Thanks again for being here. We'll see you guys in the chat.
Penalty up on the boards, and it says it's against Pius Suter, but Carson Soucy is the player in the box. And I am mystified as to what they have called here. How Carson Soucy is the only guy pulled out of that big scrum, I have no appreciation for. He gave Bouchard a couple of gloved left-hand punches. And now Draisaitl has gone to the box for the Oilers. But they still have an extra 2 up on the clock here, and it looks like it's going to be an Oiler power play. Faceoff is going to be in the Vancouver zone. There are only 4 Canucks on the ice. And now Suter is coming across, so the Canucks get the extra minor. And it'll be an Edmonton power play for the second time tonight. They're 1 for 1 and 2 for 2 in the series. But Leon Draisaitl is in the box and won't be able to participate.
And Rick Tocchet wants an explanation. He's not happy. He's gone down to the bottom of the bench to have a discussion. Not happy at all.
He's heated. But the Oilers get a man advantage and a chance to take their first lead of the game. It's Evander Kane replacing Leon Draisaitl on the top power play unit as he will watch from the box. And the Oilers win the draw, left circle. Bouchard from the line. Near boards McDavid. Passes into the corner for Nugent Hopkins. Back to McDavid. Winding top of the circle. Again to Nugent Hopkins. Back to McDavid. Doesn't have a shooting lane. Pushed wide by Myers. Goes back to the line for Bouchard. Now to McDavid. Left circle, Nugent Hopkins tried a centering pass. Blocked off a stick. It rolls to the near boards. Myers was tangled up with Hyman, and it's going to be an Oiler penalty. Zach Hyman for holding. That'll take the Oilers off the power play, as the extra penalty against Suter was a delay of game for puck over glass. It looked to us like he shot it into the bench, but it went over the glass, so it was Soucy and Draisaitl with coincidental roughing minors, Suter for puck over glass, and now it's Hyman going off, so it'll be 4-on-4 for 1 minute and 36 seconds.
And I like that trade for the Vancouver Canucks. You've got Hyman and Draisaitl in the penalty box for the Oilers. No disrespect to Carson Soucy and Pius Suter, but you got 2 very high-skill guys for the Oilers sitting in the penalty box. This is potentially where Miller and Besser can take advantage.
Holding the stick against Zach Hyman. We saw each team score a goal. The last time there was a 4-on-4 sequence. It's Miller, Besser, Hronek, and Hughes in the offensive zone against Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, Bouchard, and Ekholm, and the Canucks win the draw. Hughes left point, dumped it behind the net, and hit the linesman on the boards. And the Oilers break out to center as a result. McDavid, right wing to the Vancouver line, high slot, passes left circle, Ekholm, waiting with the puck, sweeps it in front, it was loose in the crease, Miller gets it free. Here's a 3-on-1 chance for the Canucks if they hurry. Miller, right wing for Besser to the Oiler line, McDavid got back on the back check to negate the odd man rush. Canucks set up in the zone. Hughes, left circle, spinning away from Nugent Hopkins on the boards. Carries behind the Oiler net, protecting the puck, right wing side for Besser in the slot. It was in his skates, tried to chip it back to Hronek. But he was backing off to the blue line as the last man back, and Bouchard got to it first. For Nugent-Hopkins, right wing Ekholm. Drops for Nugent-Hopkins, tried a rink-wide pass, bounced off a skate to the near boards. Hughes took a high stick. I think it might have been a follow-through. He looks like he's cut going to the bench, but play continues, and here come the Oilers to the Vancouver line. McLeod, left wing, tried a shot, elevated it over the crossbar. And it bounces past Ceci and back out to center. Ceci dumps it into his own end for Darnell Nurse, near corner. Nurse goes behind his own goal for Ceci. Pressured by Lindholm on the forecheck. Played it back below the goal line. Pedersen after it. Later reverse hit on Ceci. Puck is caught up in skates, and now Fogle gets it free and clears it out to center. 20 seconds left in Suter's minor penalty. Then the Canucks will have a shortened power play. As Pedersen picks up speed to the Oiler line on right wing. Elias Pedersen stops near point. Drops to Zadorov on the boards. He'll bring it down the wall. Takes a snapshot, and Skinner stops him short side. And holds on with 3:49 left in the second period. 5 seconds left in 4-on-4 action. Canucks and Oilers tied at 2. And when Suter steps out of the box, the Canucks will have a 24-second power play of their own.
And Batch, that should have been a penalty on Connor McDavid, as it wasn't a follow-through. McDavid was skating by Quinn Hughes, and he flips Quinn Hughes in the face. So should have been 2 minutes at least for high sticking.
And I think Hughes was cut. He went straight purpose play from Connor McDavid. Sneaky dirty.
Skate by. Just trying to make that contact. And this game's gotten pretty greasy here in the second period, as both teams really upping the physicality, but this is the temperature in this series is starting to go up here, as skilled players are starting to have some of those plays that you mentioned. Accidentally on purpose is happening a lot here in the second period.
And Quinn Hughes, Brock Besser, and Kelly Sutherland are still chatting, and I think they're going to make Hughes go off because his cheek is bleeding. And we can read Quinn Hughes' lips in this conversation. He's not happy.
Yeah, we can't...
and now he's being made to go off because he's bleeding from the high stick that the officials missed. By Connor McDavid.
And this is a play that Nugent-Hopkins has the puck right next to the bench of the Edmonton Oilers. Quinn Hughes is not even near him. He's trying to skate towards Nugent-Hopkins. And McDavid just clips him straight in the face. You could have called this interference or high sticking before minutes. No doubt that should have been a penalty.
Hronek and Zadorov on the ice with Miller and Besser against Nugent-Hopkins, Janmark, Ekholm, and Desharnais. And Suter's ready to step out of the box and send the Canucks to the power play. Miller wins the draw to the line for Hronek. Back to Miller near boards, try to pass into the slot. Besser missed it. Janmark has it, and he'll take his time. Controlling at his own line. Passes back to Ekholm, who dumps it all the way down the ice. Now with just a dozen seconds left on the Canucks' third power play of the game. Here's Zadorov. Lugging it to center left wing, drops it to Pius Suter. He'll gain the red line. Suter, middle of the ice, goes far boards for Pedersen. Spins it behind the Oiler net. Ekholm near corner. Pressured by Besser on the forecheck. Hyman's out of the box now. So the teams are back to 5-on-5 with 3:10 left in the second, of the game tied at 2. Hughes back on the ice, holds into the line. Dumps it behind the Oiler net. Desharnais clears it around the boards all the way down. Icing's going to be waved off because Hughes was going for a change and didn't touch it, and Shilov's out of the goal, is pressured by Hyman. Mishandled the puck, it's behind the net, caught up in skates. Shilov's is knocked down. McDavid trying to get it free out front. One-time chance for Bouchard from the line. He fanned on it, and Ian Cole safely clears it all the way down for an icing. 2:45 remaining in the second period. It's a 2-all game. And Archer Shilovs dodges a bullet.
There was a bit of a rugby scrum right behind the Canucks net as Shilovs and Myers get caught, both of them, colliding in the area as a forechecker, Zach Hyman, came in. And there's another play on Quinn Hughes, that bit of a accidentally on purpose again, this time from Zach Hyman in the neutral zone on Quinn Hughes, and Hughes in some obvious pain on the bench. A bit of an elbow to the back there by Hyman to Quinn Hughes, and the puck was not really, it was a late hit.
Oilers win the faceoff of the Vancouver zone. Kulak goes right point for Bouchard. Now to the far corner for Connor McDavid. High slot, left wing pass for Kulak. Tried to chip it to the goal. He was poke checked by Myers. And Bluger gets it free to center for Pedersen. With speed to the Oiler line. Lafferty driving the middle. Pedersen tries a toe drag. Lost the puck. It goes to Lafferty's side of the net. Tried to bank it off Skinner from below the goal line. It stays out. Now Lafferty tried to play to Pedersen in the slot. Bouchard blocked the pass. Bluger gets it behind the goal. He's pinned to the end boards by Kulak. McDavid trying to knock it free is tied up by Pedersen. And now Now Zach Hyman, right wing to center, gains the red line and dumps it into the Vancouver zone. Myers back to the puck. Pressured by Hyman. It comes to Draisaitl, right corner. Center's in front. Henrique going to the goal. Couldn't tip it on. And instead it's JT Miller back to center. Miller to the Oiler line. Winding middle of the ice. Drops for Blueger. He mishandled the pass and Nurse throws it back out to center. Zadorov in his own end. Spins deep with 1:50 left in the middle frame. 2-all tie in game 2. Miller gets it free to Zadorov with a burst of speed to the Oiler line. Left wing. Zadorov in the corner. Tight angle shot. He scores! Nikita Zadorov with another bullet off the rush. Gives the Canucks the lead again in the final 2 minutes of the second period. It's Vancouver 3 and Edmonton 2.
And Nikita Zadorov hits him high. Stuart Skinner has no chance on that one. As he picks up the puck in the neutral zone and goes near the goal line. A seeing eye shot that beats Skinner over the right shoulder, and Skinner has no idea where this puck is. Nikita Zadorov cannot stop scoring. Makes it 3-2 Vancouver.
It's his 4th of the playoffs at 18-17 of the second period to give the Canucks the 3-2 lead. The time of the goal is brought to you by Crow, your trusted advisors for 55 years. Learn more at crowmackay.ca. Warren Fogle, right wing to the Vancouver line. Dump the puck past Zadorov. Ian Cole clears it to center. Here's Dakota Joshua into the Edmonton end. Dumps it right corner. Lindholm's after Nurse on the forecheck. Knocks him down. Joshua following up. Can't find the puck. And Evander Kane gets it back to center ice. Ian Cole in his own zone for Joshua. Left wing into the offensive end. Forced wide by Ceci. Finished his check on him on the boards. Lindholm and Nurse will battle for it left corner. Evander Kane gets it loose. Now into the final minute of the second. Right wing to the Canuck blue line. Pushed wide by Soucy. Kane protecting the puck. Throws it to the net. It bounced off the outside of the goal. Comes to McDavid below the goal line. To Draisaitl right point. Spins off a check of Miller. Top of the circle. Rink wide to McDavid. Left circle. Tied up by Suter. Spins off the check into the slot. Trying to backhand pass. Chipped away by Besser. It comes to Miller. He'll sweep it to center for Myers. Canucks with a 3-on-2 to the Oiler line. Myers. High slot. Besser. Tips it to the goal. Suter deflected it on. And Skinner held it out off the left pad. Under 30 seconds left. Besser holds in left point. Down the far wall for Miller. Driving behind the Edmonton net. Pushed to the inboards by Evan Bouchard. He'll get it free from Matthias Ekholm. Suter finished a check on McDavid away from the play. It's going to be a Vancouver penalty. Draisaitl right wing with a backhand shot to the net. Stopped by Shilovs. He holds on for the whistle. And the Oilers are going to get a power play with 14 seconds left in the second period.
And this will be interference on Pius Suter in the corner. He's trying to be physical, but the problem is Connor McDavid does not have the puck. And you want to wind up with Connor McDavid. You want to take away that speed as he's trying to hit you in transition, but you can't make contact there. So this is going to be 14 seconds of a power play for the Edmonton Oilers, but the Vancouver Canucks got to win this face-off, and you head into the intermission hopefully with a lot of optimism after Nikita Zadorov, 4th goal of the playoffs, playing with such confidence and such swagger right now.
Only Brock Besser has scored more goals this postseason for the Canucks. He's got 5. Edmonton to the man advantage. Their 3rd power play of the evening. They're 1 for 2 after Zach Hyman took them off the man advantage by taking that penalty earlier in the period. Canucks win the draw, though, and Ian Cole gets it down the ice. 6 seconds left in the period. Bouchard back to it. Try to pass right wing to center. It rolls all the way down, and this will be icing against the Oilers. And the Canucks will get an offensive zone face-off. Although the buzzer sounds, but they're going to chat about this, and they're going to add time back and make the teams contest a draw in the Oiler end.
And the Oilers are already heading to their locker room. They might have to call out the players like Vancouver had to in the Nashville series, where Tyler Myers had actually taken off his equipment, but I think the Oilers will have enough players here on the ice to take the face-off.
It is the same line staying out, McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, Bouchard, and Hyman. Of course, they can't change because of the icing anyway. And they're going to wait and see how much time they put on the clock here. We know the Canucks have been successful on face-off plays. Imagine if they could somehow score shorthanded here with just a little bit of time left.
That's right, and they've got a few set plays. You know that JT Miller's going to direct traffic. He's not out there. He is out there right now, so when he's involved, him and Elias Lindholm, two very good face-off centers, and Lindholm's going to take this one. He hasn't had the same success he did in the last game, but 2.5 seconds on the board right now.
That's a lot of time to work with, and it's Lindholm, Hughes, Zadorov, and Miller. And JT Miller is directing traffic on the draw and chatting with Zadorov, who's going to be the winger off this faceoff. Miller and Hughes lining up behind Lindholm to try and shoot. Faceoff to the right of Stuart Skinner. And Draisaitl ties up Lindholm. They push and shove off the draw, and the period comes to an end. 3 goals in the middle frame, 2 of them scored by the Canucks, Besser and Zadorov. Ekholm found the back of the net for Edmonton, and the Canucks lead 3-2 after 40 minutes, but they'll have time on the PK to start the third period.
And these teams are very slow to leave the ice here as there's more conversation, but Nikita Zadorov, what confidence he's playing with right now, picking up the puck in the neutral zone and going down that left-hand side, sniping over the shoulder of Stuart Skinner. I keep on calling him Jeff Skinner, but Stuart Skinner. But this is a player right now in a team that is picking up such confidence, guys, that you start looking at Zadorov and what he's able to do. It's been a revelation, but he's given this team some serious swagger, and that continued in the second period.
Time for Canucks Central at the intermission. Let's rejoin Satyar Shah, Bick Nazar, and Brett Festerling.
This is Canucks Central at the intermission on the official home of the Canucks, Sportsnet 650 and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Zadorov in his own end. Spins deep with 1:50 left in the middle frame. 2-all tie in game 2. Miller gets it free to Zadorov with a burst of speed to the Oiler line. Left wing. Zadorov in the corner. Tight angle shot. He scores! Nikita Zadorov with another bullet off the rush. Gives the Canucks the lead again in the final 2 minutes of the second period. It's Vancouver 3 and Edmonton 2.
Nikita Zadorov, another snipe off the wing. When did he become Bobby Orr in the postseason? This guy's picking his corners, giving the Vancouver Canucks a 3-2 lead after the second period. This is Canucks Central at the intermission on Sportsnet 650 and the Sportsnet Radio Network. Satyar Shah, Bick Nazar, and Brett Festerling. Keep getting your thoughts in to our Dunbar Lumber text inbox, 650-650. Well, let's work our way back because that was an incredible goal scored by Zadorov. So let's start with the leading goal. Now, the Oilers have the power play hitting into the third, so a lot to break down here in a, let's just say, an oddly officiated game so far. Like, for both teams,
sure.
Not to say it's for one or the other. So oddly officiated game, a lot of mayhem there in the second. But Nikita Zadorov, guys, I mean, he's almost at the goal line. Maybe Skinner's off his post a little bit, but are you expecting the big man to pick his corner like that?
No, but at this stage, like, what isn't he contributing, right?
Yeah.
He's providing goals. He's providing physicality. He's had good moments defensively so far through this series. We'll talk about the goal against. Obviously, he plays a role in that, but like, he's doing a drive-by by the Oilers bench. He's the well-dressed player. Like, he's got everything going for him right now, and the crowd's loving him. Every text right now is sign that guy. It's full display for Zadorov right now.
My favorite part, he scores the goal, they go by the bench, and then he goes by the entire Edmonton bench, talks to them, gives Fogle a shot, gives Kane a shot. Like, he wants more. And yeah, what a shot. He just fired it.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? The swagger he brings. I mean, how infectious is that when you have a big guy who is physical, isn't afraid, and he's going and doing those sort of things? Like, what does that do to the bench?
Yeah, exactly. You can puff your chest out. You know he's coming in no matter what. So it just allows you to play more free in those zones. And you've seen these scrums. Guys are not afraid to get in scrums when you know Zadorov is going to come in behind you.
And it's functional toughness, right? It's not going out of your way.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's playing 4 minutes a night and just trying to find the moments. He's a pivotal part of this team's success. And, man, he's... like, what a display by this guy. It's everything right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's work our way back then to how the Canucks initially took the lead in the first minute of the second period. Brock Besser tipping in a shot from Carson Soucy. Zadorov also getting an assist on that play. And it's a pretty simple play off a face-off. And Besser's doing what he's done so well in this postseason. That's go to dangerous areas, get sticks on pucks, and this one ends up in the back of the net.
Yeah, simple D-to-D shot, go to the net. Exactly. It's 4-on-4. Another time they go 4-on-4, and you're thinking it's probably not going to be advantageous for Vancouver, but they get a good shot right off the bat. Miller and Besser both in Skinner's eyes, and yeah, Besser gets the high tip.
not as successful tonight in the draws overall for the Canucks, 46%. Over what happened last game where they're up over 60%, but another face-off goal. They scored one last game, something to keep an eye on, obviously, through the series.
Yeah, big getting those offensive zone draws. They can turn out big for you, and it did in that instance. However, just over 20 seconds later, 23 seconds later, the Edmonton Oilers make it 2-2, and the Canucks have actually been very clean this game defensively. Their DDD passes have been good. Their puck support's been really good. They've been getting clears. The one time the 2D don't converge on the exchange, it's Soucy to Zadorov. Puck's kind of in his skates. It leads to a turnover. And the next thing you know, well, Connor McDavid behind the net finds the open guy. Ekholm makes it 2-2.
Yeah, Draisaitl is unbelievable on his backhand, right? Like we talked about this in game one, where he threaded some nice passes on the power play or wherever on his backhand, and he puts this into the middle, goes off McDavid's skate, ends up at Ekholm, and he picks a spot. We were talking about this today, with the D-man kind of creeping in on their activations, and sure enough, he's there for a second goal of the series.
Yeah, and I know exactly this play is a D-man because Soucy's coming back and he's forehand and he's going to go try to pass it, or he has it in his mind. He's passing his Zadorov's forehand as a lefty. But Zadorov knows 4-on-4 he's got a guy coming on him, which is McDavid. So he's facing the wall hoping for just a rim. He wants a rim, or if it's coming to him, he's going to continue it and eat McDavid's kind of physicality there.
Because he's trailing Soucy behind the net.
Yeah, exactly. So it ends up going off his skates. That's where they get it back, or Draisaitl, gets it back. McDavid goes in front, exactly like you said, off a skate and tackle.
It's a tough play, but Soucy, I guess that's backhand up the wall there. McDavid's trailing you. I guess that's what's in his mind. He's like, I don't want to go by McDavid to get it to JT Miller, because Miller was all in all sorts of space.
Yeah, and then that's what hurts about the goal is you have control of the puck in a 4-on-4 scenario. Maybe Miller can talk there. I think he's got to take ownership of that, of yes or no, and then it goes to Zadorov as well. You can yell hard if you really want it hard, yelling hard. So it's communication in the D zone.
Yeah, and the text inbox is full of shouts for Zadorov. Zaddy is one text. This one here says from Matthew in Wainwright, Alberta. So is Zed going to retire Canuck or what? So we'll see what happens here.
They might build a statue for him before he retires.
Well, if he keeps doing these sort of things, Canucks fans will build one for them. This one here says the Canucks need to sign Zadorov. He's a cult hero already and one of their best players here in the postseason. So Zadorov getting a lot of love. However, the officials are getting a lot of criticism in our text inbox. This one here says Herbal officiating the last penalty is a joke. Sutherland is proving why he should not be reffing in the playoffs. A lot more coming in about bad calls, and the one that's sticking out to many, and Isaac and Abbotsford and others as well, the high stick by Connor McDavid on Quinn Hughes. Draws blood. It's a clear high stick. It's not a follow-through. He gets Quinn Hughes in the face. He's bleeding. And to make matters worse, Quinn gets cut. They miss the call. On the ensuing faceoff, Quinn goes out there. Officials send him out because he's bleeding from his cheek. So the high stick that caused the cut kept Quinn Hughes from taking another shift until it got stopped. So extra salt in the wounds after missing a call by the officials.
And this isn't a follow-through scenario. This is McDavid going up the ice and accidentally on purpose. I don't know, but either whatever it was, so it's clear as day. Stick right to the forehead of Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, and the officiating's really put a weird flow to the game, right? It's just kind of been stop, go. The extended breaks are too long, and then you got one ref talking to a group of Edmonton players, one ref talking to a group of Canucks players. So it's put a weird, I think it starts actually with the nurse hit. We're going back to the first period, right? That sets a weird tone, and now everybody's kind of doesn't know where that line is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's one of those things where, so they missed that clear call, right? So it should be a double minor. They miss it. And then they call the interference on Suter on McDavid. Now, it is interference, right? Like, you know, the puck's not there. He takes McDavid out. Does McDavid fall down a little easy? Maybe, but it's a pick, right? Like, he throws him down. It's just, with what you're letting go and how you're calling the game situationally, it just burns to have that one called after a missed call and numerous other things going uncalled in that period.
I will say, it's a superstar call, okay?
Yes.
I think McDavid embellishes this because he's been picked up early a bunch of times where, like, Miller has gotten in his grill, puck is nowhere close, and he's trying to get his speed to join the play, and guys have chipped him, and he's not gotten the calls. This one, like, he makes the meal of it, but there have been instances where guys have jumped in front of McDavid or got him off course and got him down to a knee as he's trying to get back into the play. He embellishes this one 100%.
Yeah, he gets his call. It's exactly what they're doing. You're trying to match speed. You're getting into it like a little body just to bump him, just to take that momentum away so you can kind of keep up with them during the ice. He does sell it. That's what every team tries to do with him. So he gets the call this time.
Yeah, he does. And Edmonton, a huge power play opportunity. They're not perfect against Vancouver. They're 2 for 3 because the second power play opportunity they had, Zach Hyman took them off, 20 seconds into it after holding his stick on Tyler Myers. Now, I will say this. The Edmonton Oilers are working the officials hard every time. Even when Hyman clearly grabs Myers' stick, holds it. Like, it's a clear holding the stick. But on his way up to the box, he's shaking his head like, you're blown call. Draisaitl's yelling at the referees. Even when they do something that they know is wrong, they're still working the officials very hard. The gamesmanship is very strong here from the Oilers with the officials tonight.
Even on the big sequence where there was coincidental minors and even Suter gets a delay of game penalty, there's a scrum. There's 9 guys in it. Connor McDavid's talking to Kelly Sutherland. And you just think, there's 4 of your guys getting fists to the face right now. You want to jump in there?
Yeah.
And Connor McDavid's talking away. And it's been a lot so far. So when you mentioned, Canucks players are talking to the officials are talking to the Oilers players. It's been a lot more of one than the other.
Yeah, for sure. And McDavid actually goes over at that. Hughes and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins are waiting for the refs. McDavid goes over and gets in the half circle. He's just completely in the half circle talking. So, yeah, I don't know where that line is either.
Well, and you know what? 5-on-5, they did score a goal 4-on-4, so they scored outside the power play with McDavid, that Ekholm goal. But they've had a hard time against the Canucks generally. There's not a lot of space there. They're getting hit all the time, too. And I think what's also happening here with the Canucks, they've created a few chances, and you see how their recoveries. So Carson Soucy loses the puck in the offensive zone, and then it's a 2-on-1 chance. It's McDavid going, you're like, okay.
It's McDavid and Draisaitl going.
2-on-1, and you're like, oh gosh, like this is really dangerous here. And then Soucy recovers. What have we been saying about this Canucks D? They're long. They have a lot of length, long sticks making plays. Carson Soucy, what a recovery on McDavid.
I think McDavid thought he had a lot more time because it's not just that he wound up the shot, it's that he dragged it back so much.
Yeah.
And that reach for Carson Soucy comes into play because there's no reason for Carson Soucy to catch Connor McDavid. It's not as if he slowed down at all.
No.
He just dragged this back and it gave Carson Soucy a window. Might be the best play of the period, to be honest.
Yeah, and he gets the puck from Soucy, from it blowing up on Soucy's stick, so he's got no momentum there. Gets it back, and then he finishes his check when he's going through. So I've never heard a cheer, I think, that loud for a good stick. It was impressive.
Great defensive play. Now, the Canucks did have some chances going the other way. They had a couple odd man rushes. The Pettersson line, again, with McCabe and Höglander. That final play from Höglander, there was one play, it's like a 3-on-1. Höglander down the wing, Pettersson down the middle. Just can't get the pass perfect. If he gets it to Pettersson on time, I mean, it's a clear-cut chance. East-west to the middle. Those usually end up in the back of the net. Höglander's having such a hard time completing that final play. He's not very clean here in these playoffs.
We talked last game. It was a very similar play, and just get it to an area. Even if it's a bad pass, you have to get it to the area. I take that back because that was a bad pass.
Yeah.
It didn't even give Pettersson a chance on that one.
Yeah, there's been some chances. They've had some opportunities. They need to bear down on them.
Just really quickly, on McDavid, the usage is out of control. He ends up playing over 9 minutes in that period. He's up to 17-19 through 2 periods. So he's looking at a 26, 27-minute game in Game 2 already.
Yeah, strapping on the tank, and Draisaitl's playing a ton with him for a guy that's supposed to be hurt. That's pretty incredible. And Joshua got a really good hit on him.
Yeah.
He looked very ginger coming up the ice there.
Yeah, Hyman's at 15:34 and Draisaitl's at 15:53.
Yeah, absolutely. So something to keep an eye on. A lot of reaction on text inbox. Tom and Van says the comments section on social media for both sides about the reffing is popping off. Nobody's happy with what they're seeing so far. But the Canucks, a 3-2 lead over the Edmonton Oilers. They're on the PK to start the third. We'll see if they can hold on and win. Batcher Randy for your third period call. That's next on Sportsnet 650.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Navigating the seas of business, the waves can be unpredictable and overwhelming. Stay on course with Crow's trusted advisors. From startups to seasoned enterprises, Crow offers advice that protects and strategies that succeed. Because every smart decision begins with expert advice. Visit crowmackay.ca to learn more. Crow, smart decisions, lasting value.
Here's NHL hockey superstar JT Miller on why he and his family choose the Ocean Park Ford Service Department in the South Surrey Auto Mall on the King George Boulevard.
Oh, it's very breezy. It's very professional and very quick. The service and all overall, and the kindness of the people there have been fantastic. It makes a very easy choice for me and my family, and very safe vehicles with the group of children I have at my house. It's been a blast.
The door is always open at Ocean Park Ford.
Landlords spend 76 hours managing their property in a year.
That's 19 date nights.
25 hockey games. And 37...
Dad, let's get some ice cream.
...moments. What could you be doing with your time? At Hope Street, we help busy landlords get their time back. Live life, get paid. Become an armchair landlord today. Hope Street, because life's too short to spend it managing properties.
HopeStreet.ca.
Step up to the plate. Let's play ball.
It's go time.
Stream the Toronto Blue Jays all season long on Sportsnet Plus.
Look at that play.
Plans start at $19.99 a month.
Boy, oh boy, this is premium stuff.
Subscribe now at sportsnetplus.ca.
BCers love hockey, and they also love burgers. What's even better is saving 20% off takeout during the playoffs. Order White Spot online and save 20% off with code SAVE20. Not valid on May 12th, June 16th, or on pirate packs and alcohol. Only at whitespot.ca.
Breaking story from Alpine News Network. Sam had aspirations of opening a clothing boutique. She called Alpine Credits and was sent a speedy superhero to help with a business loan. Super speed doesn't translate to radio, but when our hero runs, she sounds like this. If you ran at the speed of light, you'd sound funny too. Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved.
The 2024 Outlander PHEV is now in stock. The world's best-selling plug-in hybrid vehicle is now more efficient, more powerful, and more sophisticated than ever, with rates starting from 4.49% plus the industry's best warranty. Elevate your everyday. Make new tracks at Applewood Mitsubishi in the Richmond Auto Mall or at applewoodmitsubishi.ca.
Play where the Canucks play. Northview Golf and Country Club, the official golf course of the Vancouver Canucks, and home of the Jake Milford Canucks Charity Invitational, featuring 2 championship courses designed by the king himself, Arnold Palmer, and the host site of 7 years of PGA Tour history. Whether you play the Ridge or Canal, it's West Coast golf at its finest, and finish your day in Duffy's Sports Grill. Book your tee time now at northviewgolf.com, created by a legend, open to all.
This is Alpine Credits Canucks Playoff Hockey. On the official home of the Canucks, Sportsnet 650 and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back inside Rogers Arena. Brendan Batchelor and Randeep Janda with you as we get set to go to the third period in Game 2. Canucks up 3-2 on the Oilers, lead the series 1-0 as well. The Canucks will be on the penalty kill for the first minute and 45 seconds of this third period. Pius Suter still in the box for the interference penalty he took in the closing moments of the second period.
And the Canucks' top penalty killers to start off are on the ice. You've got Lindholm, you've got Bluger. But what's going to be really, really important here is if the Oilers are able to gain the zone, that you got to win those puck battles and you got to get the puck down the ice, Batch. This is really important at this juncture of the game. They've scored 1 goal already, 1 for 3. The Canucks have done a decent job, but you have to really up the effort and make sure that you win all the battles that you possibly can here in the third period to close this one out.
More conversations going on with the referees before the period's even started. Zadorov and Kelly Sutherland having a long chat. Connor McDavid came over to join that too. It's been a busy night in terms of talking for the refs. Underway in the third period, Canucks in blue going from right to left. The Oilers in white skating from left to right. Edmonton's on the power play and they win the draw. Bouchard for McDavid, slicing through the middle into the Vancouver zone. Cuts left boards, feeds back to Bouchard. Now to Draisaitl. Top of the right circle, pushed to the wall by Lindholm, gets it back to Evan Bouchard near point. Bouchard for Nugent Hopkins. Down low to Draisaitl. Back to Bouchard. Left circle, McDavid shoots off the post. It bounced back. Shelovs holds it out of the crease and falls on top of it to get the whistle. That one almost bounced off him and in. But Archer Shelovs gets on top of it and gets the whistle. 28 seconds into the third. 1:17 left in the Edmonton power play. The Canucks lead the Oilers 3-2 in Game 2.
Connor McDavid on the left-hand side winds up with a wrister, gets it through traffic, and hits the left post of Archer Shelovs. But a good reaction by Shelovs to move to the left-hand side and denies Zach Hyman. He gets a little bit of his stick on the puck, but Shelovs just closes the door there. A quick reaction by the young Latvian.
McDavid shooting for the left circle, fired it over the glove of Shelovs, off the post. It then hit Ian Cole, bounced back into the crease. Hyman got a whack at it, and Shelovs was able to recover and hold it out. Face off to his left in the Vancouver zone. Draisaitl wins the draw. McDavid, left circle. Bouchard with a one-timer, partially blocked it, rolled wide of the net. Hronek chips it up the near boards, but it comes to Draisaitl. To Bouchard, top of the point. Back to Draisaitl, right wing side. Still more than a minute left in the Oiler power play. Leon Draisaitl into the corner for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Skates top of the circle. Cycles to Draisaitl. Now to McDavid. Trying to find a lane. Goes to Draisaitl. Side of the net. Through it. Through the crease. It bounced off a skate just wide of the far post. Hyman was waiting in his usual spot at the back door. Nugent-Hopkins, left circle, takes a shot, stop by Shelovs. Rebound goes to the corner. Hyman's got it down low. Poke check by Zadorov. He'll tie it up on the wall. Hronek gets it free, but Bouchard holds into the line. Great play. 30 seconds left in the power play. McDavid high slot, trying to backhander to the net. Cleared by Zadorov. It rolls back towards Shelovs as he was poke checked by McDavid was Zadorov. And Shelovs covers up. 26 seconds left in the Oilers power play. 1:19 into the third. Canucks up 3-2 in Game 2 at Rogers Arena.
And a much-needed change there for Nikita Zadorov. Takes a 96-mile-per-hour shot from Evan Bouchard off the right leg, and he was struggling halfway through that chip, but he ends up staying on the ice. And right after that, Nugent-Hopkins gets a puck through, and Shelovs ends up getting his right shoulder on it. So a couple of good chances on this power play, but Archer Shelovs doing his job.
Luger and Draisaitl on the face-off. Near circle in the Vancouver zone to our right. Scramble draw. Ian Cole gets it behind his own goal. Tyler Myers gets his head up, wires it off the glass. It bounces to center. Bluger wasn't ready for it as it deflected oddly off the glass and right to him, but he missed it. It rolls deep into the Edmonton zone anyway. 10 seconds left in the Oiler power play. McDavid picking up speed from his own line. Here he comes into the Vancouver zone. Left wing forced wide by Myers. Throws on the brakes. Try to drop past. Bluger broke it up. He was tricked up by McDavid. Bouchard holds into the line, trying to pass to McDavid. Bounced off his stick and out to center. Suter's out of the box. And the Oilers are now 1 for 3 on their power play tonight. Carson Soucy, left wing to the red line. Dumps it behind the Oiler net. Höglander meets it right wing. Chips it to the corner for McKay. He'll let it go behind the goal. Ryan McLeod breaks up the cycle. Gets it to Evander Kane, who can't clear. Höglander dumps it in for Pettersson. Behind the Oiler net. Stick handling on the end boards. Brings it to the right corner. Banks it back to the point. Hronek holds in. Batted it out of midair. Back to Pettersson. Top of the point. Feeds left side for Hughes. Made a move around Fogle. Into the slot. Hughes towards the goal. Backhand shot held out by Skinner. Down low off the pad. Now Ryan McLeod gets it out to center ice. Evander Kane was after it, but Hronek chipped it back into his own zone for Pettersson. Now for Hronek to center for Mikheyev with speed right wing to the Oiler line. Dumps it into the corner and will pursue on the forward check with Desharnais back to it behind his own net. Desharnais clears it all the way down. Icing's waved off, and Ian Cole has it behind his own net. Cole, right wing to center for Zadorov. Chips it to Suter. Into the Oilers zone, was poke checked, and Henrique is back left wing to the red line. Goes rink wide near side for Corey Perry. Tried a centering pass, but Ian Cole blocked it off his stick, and it ends up at the right wing corner. Holloway digs it free for Perry. Back to the line. Desharnais, long shot blocker, saved by Shelovs, and it deflects up and out of play. 3:06 gone in the third period. Canucks up 3-2 on the Oilers in Game 2.
Quinn Hughes showing off what he can do best, and he's got a cut on his face still leaking some blood, but puts a move on Warren Fogle that Fogle wasn't ready. Looks like he's going on to the outside, cuts into the inside, and has a backhand shot on Skinner, but no chance there as Fogle, decent skater in his own right, but in front of Quinn Hughes, had no chance on that as just working those edges. Quinn Hughes Second time he's done that. First on Connor McDavid, here on Warren Foegele.
Lindholm and Henrique on the draw in the Vancouver zone. Won by Henrique. Back to the line for Desharnais. Left wing Kulak tried a shot. Garland got down and blocked it. Kulak carries back into the left corner. Got it to Holloway on the inboards. He's pinned to the wall by Elias Lindholm. Holloway gets it free. Tried to cycle down low to Perry. Lindholm broke it up. Clears it up the near side for Dakota Joshua, who protects it from Henrique and clears it off the boards to center. Desharnais at the red line. Chips it loose for Holloway. He'll wind back into the Canuck end on left wing and dump it behind the net. Zadorov behind his own goal. Spins it up the near side for Joshua. Knocked it down with his glove, so Garland didn't touch it, and Joshua dumps it into the Oiler end so the Canucks can change. Cody Ceci at his own line. Right wing to center, lifts it off the glass and in deep. Hronek back to it near corner. Pokes it away from Derek Ryan. Teddy Bluger on the boards. Tied up by Evander Kane, Sam Lafferty, and Derek Ryan in the battle for the puck too. Still tied up in skates. Now Hughes gets it free behind his own net for Hronek, far corner, being hounded by Janmark, but he keeps the puck and passes left wing to center for Bluger. Chipped it to the Oiler line, but Ryan sends it the other way for Kane. Now for Janmark, tight angle backhander from the goal line on the near side, hit the outside of the net. Then Hughes is run over by Kane late. He lost his helmet. He's got to go off on a change. Oilers keep it in the zone. Janmark with a tight angle shot held out by Shilovs. It rolls to Lafferty, middle of the ice, and he'll skate it out to center himself. Janmark harassing him on the back check, and Lafferty dumps it in.
And that should have been a penalty on Evander Kane. He kicked out underneath Quinn Hughes. Looked like a tripping call to me at the very least.
Zadorov tried to challenge Evander Kane to drop the gloves in front of the benches. Kane turned his back and went off on a change. Can you blame him?
I don't think anybody wants to fight Nikita Zadorov right now. He's feeling it right now.
Now here's Tyler Myers, right wing to center. Dumps it into the Oiler end. Bouchard near corner, chased down by Besser on the forecheck. Evan Bouchard behind his own net, passes to Draisaitl. He'll fire it all the way down. Soucy back to it. It's going to be icing. Canucks will have an offensive zone face-off. 5:10 gone in the third period. They lead the Oilers 3-2 in Game 2.
And the play on Evander Kane, he definitely slew-foots, or kind of at the very least kicks out at Quinn Hughes.
Hughes tried to spin away from the head, and that's where the contact comes with his left leg.
He did, but there's a bit of a
kicking motion.
There is a kicking motion there by Evander Kane. And I will say this about Quinn Hughes, though. He's playing well, and he's trying to persevere through this. That's a sign of a good player. He's not shying away from this contact.
Rick Tocchet muttering under his breath behind the Vancouver bench as the Canucks win a face-off of the Oilers zone. Hoglander left corner, protecting it for Ekholm, centers in front. Mikheyev, top of the crease, had it tipped away from him by Bouchard. Soucy tried to step up on Hyman, lost the puck. McDavid's got a breakaway. In alone on Shilovs, he scores! Connor McDavid ties the game at 3 as he got away after Soucy tried to step up and lay ahead, and it's a 3-all tie. The Oilers claw back again.
And that's a compounding of mistakes there as Carson Soucy steps up in the offensive zone trying to win the puck. He can't as he hits Zach Hyman. Then Tyler Myers is the last man back, and he jumps up as well trying to win the puck. Unfortunately, Connor McDavid takes it away from him. He's off to the races, beats Artur Shilov's stick side, but that's one mistake by Soucy and then another chance taken by Tyler Myers that cost the Vancouver Canucks.
Just McDavid's second goal of the playoffs. At 5:27 of the third period to tie the game at 3. The time of the goal is brought to you by Crow, your trusted advisors for 55 years. Learn more at crowmackay.ca. And Zadorov and Kane are still chatting. Connor Garland and Kane are lining up opposite each other off the faceoff. Zadorov still wants a piece of Kane after that exchange that Kane had with Hughes on the end boards in the Vancouver zone. Nugent Hopkins wins the draw back to his own line for Desharnais. Right wing to center, Warren Foegele dumps it in. And Ian Cole's back to the puck. Played it loose for Dakota Joshua. Battling on the boards with Foegele. Canucks need to keep their composure here. Make sure they don't get caught running around trying to settle a score in a tied hockey game here in the third period. Zadorov passes to Joshua. He directs it out to center off his skate, and Brett Kulak's got it in his own end. Kulak threw it up the boards, gave it away to Joshua, skating back down the right wing side. Leaves in the corner for Lindholm. Back to Zadorov. Right circle. Doesn't have a shooting lane. Chips it deep instead. Joshua protects it from Kulak. Plays it up the boards, but it comes to Warren Foegele, and he'll clear it out to center left wing for Evander Kane. Stood up by Zadorov as he dumped it in.
And Nikita still wants a piece of Vander Kane.
They're still going back and forth, jawing at each other as they head to the benches. And Ian Cole's got it behind his own goal. Far side for Quinn Hughes. Right wing to center for Lafferty to the Oiler line. Tied up by Nurse. Bluger in to help out. Tried to chip it deep, but Nurse gets it back to center, and Hronik's got it. Left wing DiGiuseppe. Deflects it in past Corey Perry. Bluger on the forecheck. Beats Ceci to the puck. He's pinned to the end boards. It's caught up in skates deep in the Oiler end. 3-all tie. Vancouver and Edmonton in game 2 as we near the 7-minute mark of the third period. Oilers clear. Hronik's got it in his own zone. Spins it across the zone to Quinn Hughes near side. Both teams change it. Here's Hughes. Left wing to the red line. Fires it in around the end boards. Ekholm back to it. Tied up by Miller. Besser knocks it deep. Miller feeds the line for Myers, and he'll funnel it back behind the net as Ekholm and Miller continue to battle back to the front of the net. Hyman in the near corner. Hit by Miller. Comes to Ekholm behind his own goal. Passes left wing for Draisaitl. Leon Draisaitl, rink wide for Hyman. Right side into the Vancouver end, cutting into the slot, drops to Bouchard near side, shot right on, stopped by Shelov. Susie cleared the rebound behind the net, and Bouchard brings it out the left wing side. He turns, fires, Shelov's made the save. Susie clears the rebound again, but this time McDavid gets it left boards. Centering pass blocked by Susie in the middle of the ice, pokes it free, comes back to McDavid. Right side, Draisaitl with a one-timer. Shelov's held that out too. Canucks still can't clear. Ekholm holds in left point, battling with Besser. McDavid turns it over to Suter in the slot, and he'll escape to the red line, dump it into the Edmonton end, so the Canucks can change.
Composure is the word here as the Canucks, after that goal that McDavid scored, you're a little scattered in their own zone. You got to make sure that you play a tight defensive game here still.
Now the Oilers ice the puck, but both teams just got changes. So there is an opportunity maybe for a mismatch here for the Canucks. And it's the Pettersson line that's going to come out against the fourth line of the Oilers.
And Artur Shelov's with a couple of great saves. First on Evan Bouchard, and then on Leon Draisaitl as he was moving from right to left, makes a pad save. High degree of difficulty on that one.
Pettersson and Ryan in the circle to the right of Skinner. Pettersson wins it to Höglander. He was tied up by Ekholm off the draw. Janmark gets it to center, couldn't dump it in. Höglander plays it up the left wing for Pettersson. Tied up by Desharnais. Höglander knocks it down, plays it to Pettersson. Now for Mikheyev, left circle, trying to drive the goal. He was poke checked by Ekholm. Desharnais in the near corner, can't clear again, tied up by Pettersson on the forecheck. They'll play it behind his own net to Matthias Ekholm. Chased down by Mikheyev. Ekholm spins away from the check, got it to Holloway, and finally the Oilers get it out to center ice. Hronik plays it loose for Höglander. Now to Hughes, darting up the left wing. Driving wide on Desharnais. He spins on the boards and clears it behind the Edmonton net. Behind the play, Holloway is tangled up with Höglander going off on a chain. Zadorov at his own line, feeds right side for Garland. He's got a lane. Faked a shot, tried a centering pass for Pettersson. It deflects high in the air. Hit the back of Nugent Hopkins to the side of the net, but rolled wide of the net. Now Zadorov, right point. D to D left side for Hughes. Spins away from Janmark. Back to the top of the point. Quinn Hughes passes left circle. Garland waits, shoots. Blocked by Desharnais. It bounces high in the air. Kane is after it near side. He's hit hard into the boards. Let it go to Joshua and cleared it back into the Vancouver end. Quinn Hughes back to the puck. Up the left wing for Zadorov. Tips it to center for Garland. Connor Garland. Fanned on a pass, gave it away to Draisaitl. He'll fire it up the left wing for McDavid. Into the Canucks zone, hit hard into the boards by Ian Cole. And Pius Suter plays it loose to Zadorov in his own end.
The Canucks finishing their checks whenever they get a chance to hit Draisaitl or McDavid. They're doing that exactly what Ian Cole did there along the right-hand side.
Now Cole lifts it right wing to center, knocked down by Nurse, lost it to Pius Suter, who clears it back into the Edmonton end. Nearing the midway mark of the third period, Canucks and Oilers tied at 3 in game 2. Suter on the forecheck, knocks a puck free for Besser left corner. Back to the line for Susie. Right point, Myers fanned on a shot. He was pressured by Draisaitl, who lost the puck in his skates. Is hit by Suter, but got it out to center for Nurse. He fired a pass up the right wing that Ceci missed. Susie throws it the other way. Here's Besser, left wing, into the Oilers zone. Shoots, he missed. Past the stick side of Skinner, and it caroms off the end boards back to center. Hyman after the puck, lost it to Susie, tried to clear it ahead. Draisaitl brings it in on the right wing. Dispossessed by DiGiuseppe on the back check. Myers clears to the point, but Hyman keeps it alive. Now Lafferty lays a hit on Draisaitl. Bluger gets it out to center. Drops for Lafferty, joining the rush. Into the Oilers zone, left wing with a backhander. He hit the post. Up high, it stays out. And Hughes can't hold in. Left point under pressure from Draisaitl. Lafferty lays a hit on Draisaitl. McDavid goes after Lafferty. And Bluger at center. Passes left wing for Hronik, who hammers it deep into the Oiler end. Garland on the forecheck. Knocks a puck loose. Joshua hounding it as well. Gets it free left wing. Joshua, top of the circle. Passes to the line. Hronik missed it. And he's got to take it back into his own end. Philip Hronek, quick pass left wing. Stretches it to Garland into the Oilers zone. Shoots left wing. Stopped by Skinner, and he covers up the rebound to get the whistle. Dakota Joshua is taken down by Brett Kulak, driving the net. And this frantic back and forth third period will continue in moments. 9:13 remaining in regulation. Canucks and Oilers tied at 3 in Game 2 on Alpine Credits Canucks Playoff Hockey on Sportsnet 650 and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
As you gear up to support your favorite team this spring, know that your favorite Kubota equipment dealer is elevating their game too. Swing by Avenue Machinery and Douglas Lake Equipment, your trusted full-line Kubota dealers, and up your game with 0% financing and special spring deals on Kubota gear. Big or small, you'll receive the respect and support you deserve. Visit one of Avenue Machinery and Douglas Lake Equipment's 6 BC locations or explore DLEAMC.com.
The 2024 Outlander PHEV is now in stock. The world's best-selling plug-in hybrid vehicle is now more efficient, more powerful, and more sophisticated than ever, with rates starting from 4.49% plus the industry's best warranty. Elevate your everyday. Make new tracks at Applewood Mitsubishi in the Richmond Auto Mall or at applewoodmitsubishi.ca.
Hey, this is JT Miller, and you're on the home of the Canucks.
Canucks win the draw. Miller scores right off the face-off. He rips it top shelf.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
You're listening to Alpine Credits Canucks Playoff Hockey on Sportsnet 650 and the Sportsnet Radio Network. Own your home. Alpine Credits can get your loan approved. Alpine Credits homeowners get approved. Visit alpinecredits.ca. 9:13 remaining in the third period. Tied at Rogers Arena in Vancouver. The Canucks and the Oilers are tied at 3 in Game 2. Vancouver leads the best-of-7 second-round series, 1-0. Face off to the right of Skinner in the Oilers zone. Ryan and Lindholm to contest the draw. The Oilers' lines have been all over the place. It's Ryan out there with Nugent Hopkins and Fogle. And they win the face-off, and here's Nugent Hopkins, left wing to center with speed. Poke check by Hronek. Puck rolls to the corner. Philip Hronek back to it. Cleared it near side. Warren Fogle has it instead. Fogle up the boards. Rink-wide pass left wing. Evander Kane shoots wide of the net. Had a good opportunity off the bench, but couldn't hit the target, and Hughes lifts it back to the Oiler line. Joshua on the forecheck. Gets it free to the left wing. He was tied up on the boards by Kulak. And Fogle fires it up the right side. Kane is poke checked by Zadorov, and then Fogle brings it in offside. And the face-off will come out with 8:42 remaining in the third period. Canucks and Oilers tied at 3, and there goes Zadorov and Kane after each other again, although it's really a one-way conversation. Zadorov trying to hunt down number 91 in white, blue, and orange anytime they're on the ice together.
Kane is doing his talking as well as he skates by the Vancouver Canucks bench, and Zadorov not shy to talk, but one thing is for sure, a couple of great plays in transition by both Zadorov and Hronek. Active sticks. Edmonton looking kind of dangerous on both of those attacks, but they did a good job to get back and make sure that they got in the way.
Oilers are out shooting the Canucks 8-2 in this third period, although they did have an early power play. And now the Canucks ice the puck off the ensuing faceoff. 8:35 left in the third period. The game is tied at 3.
If you look at 5-on-5 opportunities, there's high danger chances are 1-1 in this period. And the one for Edmonton was, of course, the breakaway goal by Connor McDavid. So a lot of the action on both ends of the ice has been to the outside. Who's going to break through to the middle? The team that does will likely win this game.
Miller and Draisaitl on the draw in the Vancouver zone. Oiler top line out. Being opposed by the top line of the Canucks. The linesman's making sure everybody's set, everybody's good to go. Miller wins the faceoff to the boards, but Hyman wins a battle with Myers. Back to Ekholm. Dumps it behind the net for Draisaitl, right corner. Now to the near point for Evan Bouchard. Back to Draisaitl, down low on the boards. Cycles to McDavid. Stops up right wing half wall, is knocked down by JT Miller, keeps the puck, spins off a check, gets it down low to Draisaitl. Back to McDavid at the blue line, watched by JT Miller. Connor McDavid darting down the left wing, has a lane, gets a shot. Sheelov stopped him and held on. With 8:09 now remaining in the third period. McDavid looking dangerous. The Canucks keeping him to the outside, and the game is still tied at 3. You're listening to Alpine Credits Canucks Playoff Hockey, streaming on the Sportsnet app and along the Sportsnet radio network.
Carter Honda is on the bandwagon, and it's game time, saving the best deals for the playoffs. Lease a new Honda Civic or HR-V from just 3.49% with plenty of stock to choose from. Or lease the award-winning CR-V from just 2.99%. And yes, that includes the CR-V hybrid model. Come in and ask about the playoff package at Carter Honda, 8th and Burrard, and CarterHonda.com. Let's go!
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
The Prestons are a hockey family. Growing kids need food, and food needs a proper kitchen. I was sent by Alpine Credits to help with a home renovation loan. I introduced these young athletes to my superhero strength protein diet. Just consult your doctor before eating 300 eggs a day. Plenty of room in that new kitchen, though.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved.
In today's modern world, there are still a few time-honored traditions in one's life. Things that are a rite of passage. Your grandfather would have experienced this, and certainly your father was there. And now, it's your turn for a legendary time. Pregame, postgame, even during the game, the number 5 orange.
Hey, this is Ian Cole, and you're on the home of the Canucks, Sportsnet 650.
8:09 remaining in the third period tonight in Vancouver. The Canucks and the Oilers are tied at 3 in Game 2. Make sure to stay tuned after the game for the Canucks Central postgame show. Satyar Shah, Vic Nazar, and Brett Festerling will take your calls and texts. They'll chat with Ian McIntyre. You'll hear Rick Tockett's postgame presser and much more right here on your home of the Canucks, Sportsnet 650 and the Sportsnet radio network. Face off of the Vancouver zone to our right far circle. Two top lines out against each other again. It's Lindholm, Suter, and Miller, though. A couple of face-off guys. And Lindholm wins that draw from Draisaitl. Back to Soucy behind the net, cleared it near point. Bouchard holds in with a long shot that was held by Artur Sheelovs for the whistle.
And it's at this point of the game when you start really zeroing in on those face-off statistics, because late in the game, it could make all the difference. Win and a draw back. Edmonton's at 55% with Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid leading the way. On the other side, Vancouver, 45%. Not as successful as Game 1. But at this point in the game, this is when it really matters. Earlier on, the stats are nice. But here, can you win the timely draws?
Now it's the lotto line with Zadorov and Myers out against McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Bouchard, and Ekholm. Draisaitl thrown out of the draw. McDavid steps in against Miller. And Miller wins it cleanly back to the corner for Nikita Zadorov. He'll flip it high in the air. Into the Oiler end. Goes all the way down for icing, though. And the faceoff will come back.
Bit of a Hail Mary feed there by Nikita Zadorov, trying to get Brock Besser in stride. Maybe a lucky bouncing puck bounces off the defenseman. We saw it a little bit earlier on, actually, where Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, the puck bounced off his back and nearly into Edmonton's net. So the icing there, it didn't work out for Vancouver.
Miller and Draisaitl again. Face off this time to the right of Sheelovs. Miller's stick broke, so he's got to go get a new one. And that'll buy the Canucks a little bit of time off that icing call, although it's actually the Oiler line that's been out there longer. They were on the ice leading into the commercial break, and they're still out there. Miller back in the circle, has a fresh stick. And slaps the face-off to the far boards, chips it behind his own net for Zadorov, who protects it well for McDavid, got it up the boards. Bouchard holds in with a shot that was tipped in the slot by Draisaitl, but it flutters over the net. Hyman on the end boards, behind the Vancouver goal, trying to cut out front, got a shot away. Sheelovs held it out. Besser gets it loose, and he'll flip it high in the air and out to center. Pass ahead for Hyman. He'll tip it right corner. Goes after it on the forecheck. Is pasted to the boards by Myers, and Zadorov gets it free. Left wing to center. Chased down by McLeod on the back check. Bounces it in on Skinner, who grabs it with the glove and holds on. And 7:23 left in regulation time. Canucks and Oilers tied at 3 in game 2.
And Skinner being serenaded by the Rogers Arena faithful, and an excellent opportunity for the Oilers as it looked like they had another chance. And Zach Hyman is really the third threat on this team and on that line, but he gets a lot of room to operate because you have, so much attention focused on McDavid and Draisaitl, so he's able to walk right in front of the net and try to force a save from Sheilov. It's a very dangerous opportunity for the Oilers.
Oilers win the draw in their own zone. Ceci chips it behind his own net. Nurse missed it. Joshua right side gets it into the slot for Lindholm. Couldn't settle the pass. It comes back to Hughes. He tried to throw it to the goal. It was blocked by Derek Ryan, who then directs it out to center. Hughes back to it, but it's called a high stick of the puck against the Canucks. I think Joshua might have got a piece of that too. And they'll bring the face-off back outside the Oiler blue line. And really, at this point of the third period, for the Canucks, they've got to survive the shifts that the top line of the Oilers has on the ice and then try to counter-punch when those guys go off.
And that usually is every second shift, as Connor McDavid's played 23 minutes and 20 seconds, and there's still 7 minutes left in this game, so he's going to be near 30 by the time this third period's done.
Hronek dumps it into the Oilers zone off the face-off wing. CC near corner is hit by Lindholm. Plays it behind his own net for Nurse. Got it to the line, and Hronek can't hold in. He'll take it back to center. Philip Hronek for Dakota Joshua. Passes right wing for Garland. Into the Edmonton end, waiting wide on the boards. Funnels it behind the Oiler net. Perry clears it near side. Joshua and McLeod will battle for it. Perry gets it free. Try to centering pass blocked by Garland. It rolls out to center anyway. And McLeod gets it loose and plays it back to his own line for Darnell Nurse. Nurse, right wing to center for Perry. Into the Vancouver end, might have been offside. Trying to centering feed, broken up by Hronek. He can't get it out. Corey Perry dumps it down the left wing. Teddy Blueger's back to it in the corner. Plays behind his own goal to Quinn Hughes. Over skate of the puck. Back to it. Spins away from Perry, who hauled him down. Arms stay at the sides of the men wearing the orange armbands, and there's a battle on the half wall far boards. Holloway got it free, lost it to Hronek, middle of the ice. He's chased back deep into his own end by Janmark. Hronek chipped it up the near boards. Holloway tried to center. Ryan dumps it wide of the goal. Janmark's after it behind the net. Lost it to Quinn Hughes. Hughes cleared it up the far wall. McKayev can't get it out. Kulak dumps it behind the net. Janmark pinned to the inboards by Hronek. Hughes gets it free, controlling the puck deep. Centered up the wall for McKayev. He's hit by Holloway. It comes back to Kulak at the line. Now to the right point. Desharnais rims it behind the goal. This Canucks line is tired. They need to get it out. But it's held in left wing by Nugent Hopkins off the bench. Chips it to the inboards. Hronek wins a battle with him down low. Then lost his stick. So gloves it up the boards to McKayev. It rolls away from him. Vogel missed it. Lafferty missed it too. And now Hronek ices it. And this is not a good situation for the Canucks, as Hughes and Hronek have been out there for more than 2 minutes. Blueger, Lafferty, and McKayev have all been out there for at least a minute. And here come Draisaitl, McDavid, Hyman, Bouchard, and Ekholm. And this might be the most crucial face-off we've seen in this game tonight.
And it's going to fall upon the shoulders of Sam Lafferty here, who's taking the draw against Leon Draisaitl.
To the right of Artur Sheilov. Scrambled face-off, caught up in skates. Blueger gets it free. He's able to get it off the boards and out to center. A huge draw win for the Canucks, and they get a wholesale change with the Oilers regrouping. Bouchard, right wing to center, passes up the boards for McDavid. He missed it. Soucy tried to clear the zone. Held in by Draisaitl. Soucy on the near side. Can't clear. McDavid centers into the slot. It was out of the reach of Hyman, and Ekholm gets it left boards. For McDavid behind the net, into the slot. Hyman one-timer, stopped by Sheelov's rebound, loose in the crease. Draisaitl trying to dig it home. It comes behind the net. Sheelov's out front. It's blocked by Miller. Maybe Pettersson got in front of that one. Canucks collapsing around their goal. Hold it out. The Oilers still have it in the zone. McDavid, left wing Ekholm. Forced wide by JT Miller. Matthias Ekholm passes behind the net to Draisaitl. Right wing side now to McDavid near circle. Threw it to the back door. Tipped away by Miller to the corner. And Ekholm's after it down low. Matthias Ekholm up the left side for McDavid. Spins off a check from Miller, who knocked him down. Miller lays a hit on Ekholm. Canucks trying to clear. McDavid holds in but falls as he goes rink wide right wing for Draisaitl. Leon Draisaitl near point. Drops to Bouchard. Fought through a check of Pettersson. Tried a tight angle shot. Batted away by Soucy, and Pettersson's got it. He'll skate it out to center. Clears the zone. He's hit late by Bouchard. And play continues with Draisaitl back to it in his own end. Both teams are changing. Nugent Hopkins goes right side for Nurse. Bats it into the Canucks zone. Zadorov back to it. Leaned on by Nugent Hopkins. Throws it middle of the ice out to center. 3:50 left, third period. Game 2 is tied at 3 between the Vancouver Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers. Zadorov in the end boards. Pokes it behind his own goal. Elias Lindholm gets it up the near side for Dakota Joshua. Cleared to the point, not out. Evander Kane holds in. Near corner for Warren Fogle. Knocked down by Zadorov. Kane gets it behind the net. To the left corner, Nugent Hopkins, tight angle. Shot stopped by Shelovs, and he holds for the whistle. With 3.5 minutes remaining in regulation time. It's a 3-all tie in Game 2, the Canucks and the Oilers on Alpine Credits Canucks Playoff Hockey, streaming on the Sportsnet app and along the Sportsnet Radio Network.
BCers love hockey, and they also love burgers. What's even better is saving 20% off takeout during the playoffs. Order White Spot online and save 20% off with code SAVE20. Not valid on May 12th, June 16th, or on pirate packs and alcohol. Only at whitespot.ca.
Step up to the plate. Let's play ball.
It's go time.
Stream the Toronto Blue Jays all season long on Sportsnet Plus.
Look at that play.
Plans start at $19.99 a month.
Boy, oh boy, this is premium stuff.
Subscribe now at sportsnetplus.ca.
Hey, it's Satyar Shah from Sportsnet 650. Wildfires have the power to drastically change lives in BC, and as wildfires become more frequent and intense, we can all take proactive measures to protect our province, our homes, and our communities. BCAA and FireSmart BC have joined forces to help educate British Columbians in wildfire prevention and preparedness. Get FireSmart with BCAA and FireSmart BC. For tips and resources, visit bcaa.com/firesmart.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Hey, this is Carson Soucy.
They score! And just like that, it's 3-2 Vancouver.
And you're on home of the Canucks, Sportsnet Radio Network.
3.5 minutes remaining in the third period. The Canucks and Oilers are tied at 3 in Game 2. Brendan Batchelor and Randeep Janda with you. Satyar Shah, Dan Riccio, Yannick Hansen brought you the pregame show. Sat has been with Vic Nazar and Brett Festerling at the intermissions. They'll be back for the postgame show where they'll be joined by Ian McIntyre. Fast Eddie Gregory is producing the broadcast. Josh Elliott Wolf is with us here at Rogers Arena, as is Canberra, the executive producer of Canucks Hockey. It takes a cast of thousands to bring you the action along the Sportsnet Radio Network. Oilers win a face-off of the Vancouver zone. Darnell Nurse, left point, shoots wide of the net. It rolls around to the near side. Ceci pinches in from the line, gets it behind the net for Evander Kane. Kane out the far side, trying to backhand wrap around, and Shelovs across to his right, held it out and covered up. As Warren Fogle is dumped at the side of the net trying to drive the goal.
And the Oilers are trying to attack from either side of the net, really. Zach Hyman's tried a couple of times, and here it was Evander Kane trying to come from the right-hand side, but a good job by Shelovs to seal that post. They're trying to really overwhelm the Canucks in and around the blue paint.
Another defensive zone draw. A little bit surprising that Chris Knobloch didn't go to the McDavid line out of the commercial break, but you know they'll be up next. As Nugent Hopkins wins the drop, left point Nurse. Dumps it behind the Vancouver goal, comes to Evander Kane in the right corner. Kane feeds the line for Ceci. Right point, shoots wide of the net, bounces back to the side of the goal, and Shelovs covers up. Now Zadorov takes a shot up high from Kulak in front of the goal. And they're both getting a talking to. A stern talking to from referee Kelly Sutherland.
And as they were getting that talking to, Nikita Zadorov skating towards Kulak, trying to express a little bit of his opinion of what he thought about that hit. But Nikita Zadorov, a lot of conversation. That was Warren Fogle, excuse me.
Yeah, I thought it was Kulak, my bad.
To the right-hand side of Archer Shelovs. And Zadorov's been in the ear of a lot of officials today as well. I've seen Quinn Hughes from the Canucks, but Zadorov has also been in the mix of everything. Scoring goals, being aggressive, throwing hits, and working the refs a little bit as well.
Here's the McDavid line with Draisaitl and Hyman. Ekholm and Bouchard. It's Miller, Pettersson, Besser, Cole, and Myers on the ice for the Canucks. And Miller wins the draw back to the near corner. Ian Cole lifts it off the glass. Bouchard holds in right point, but Pettersson follows up. He couldn't clear. Bouchard held in again, gave it away to Ian Cole, and he lifts it high in the air to center ice. Cole from his own line passes to McDavid, trying to corral a bouncing puck into the Vancouver zone. Miller knocked it free, but it comes to Draisaitl left wing. Back to Ekholm, tried a one-timer. Tipped off the skate of Besser. It actually broke his stick. But Pettersson gets it out of the zone, and Besser goes to the bench for a new one. Heavy pass left wing out of the reach of McDavid. Batted down by Myers for Besser, far wall. Gets it off the boards for Miller. Banks it out to center, only as far as Ekholm. He'll pass right wing for Draisaitl, middle of the ice. McDavid brought it in. That looked offside. Play continues. Here's Hyman right wing to the net. Centered in front. There was a backdoor tapping chance for Ekholm. He ended up in the goal, but the puck did not. Now Draisaitl has it right side. Top of the point. Bouchard. Heavy shot right on, and Sheilov stopped it and held it. With 2:17 left in the third period, it's still a 3-all tie between the Canucks and the Oilers in Game 2.
And a composed Archer Sheilov's on that play as Mattias Ekholm was in the crease, in the blue paint. Ends up crashing the net, coming in from the left-hand side, and stays there for a little bit. And right after that, shot from the point, 95 miles per hour from Evan Bouchard. And very confident positioning by Archer Sheilov. Is aggressive at the edge of the blue paint to make the save.
McLeod, Henrique, Perry, Kulak, and Desharnais on the ice for the Canucks against the Lindholm line with Joshua, Garland, Hughes, and Hronek. Now that's the way you got to look at things now with 2:17 left in the third period, in regulation time. Game tied at 3. Is your opportunity is whenever guys wearing 97 or 29 are not on the ice. Canucks win the draw, can't clear the zone. Henrique holds in near point. Bats it back to the corner. Corey Perry has it down low. Cycles behind the net. Ryan McLeod has it left corner to the line for Kulak. Teed up a drive. Garland blocked it from close range, and Joshua gets it out to center. For Hronek up in the rush. Dumps it wide of the net. Skinner, it bounced off the end boards back to the side of the goal, but he held it out, and Desharnais gets it deep in his own end. Cleared it up the wall and out to center. Hronek at his own line. Fires it left wing for Garland. Into the Edmonton end. Gets around Desharnais. Chips it to the corner. Goes after it down low. He's pinned to the end boards by Kulak. McLeod got it free. Sent it up the far side. It's knocked down back to the line. Garland with a one-timer. There was traffic in front, but it deflected wide of the net. Now Mikheyev off the bench. Holds in right point. Dumps it behind the goal. Kulak missed it on the end boards. Near side Desharnais. Plays it up the wall. To the line, but not out. Quinn Hughes holds in. Long wrist shot blocked in front. Rebound top of the crease. Kulak clears it all the way down the ice. Icing against the Oilers. With 1:12 left in regulation time. And a big opportunity here for Vancouver as the lotto line comes out for the offensive zone faceoff, and the fans are on their feet.
The crowd is ready, the lotto line is ready, and they'll have a pretty soft matchup here against the Ryan McLeod, Adam Henrique, and Warren Foegele trio. 4 of the players for the Edmonton Oilers have been on the ice for over a minute here. Let's see if the lotto line can get to work.
Miller chatting with Myers and Pettersson here. We know they like their face-off plays. We'll see what they have in store here if Miller can win the draw against McLeod. Left circle in the Oilers zone with 1:12 left in the third, and the game tied at 3. Miller wins it to Besser. Left point Hughes. Right side Myers. Settles a puck. Dumps it far corner for JT Miller. Back to Myers. It came out over the blue line. He's got to take it back to center. Oilers get a partial change. Miller got it from Myers at the red line. Trying to pass ahead. Blocked by Foegele, and now we're into the final minute of the third period. Hughes in his own end, watched by Nugent Hopkins, goes across to Tyler Myers, left wing pass to center out of the reach of Teddy Bluger. Bouchard fires it ahead. Here's Nugent Hopkins, right wing, into the Vancouver zone, throws on the brakes near circle, spins away from Besser. Nugent Hopkins to Draisaitl, right wing half wall, back to the line. Bouchard fakes a shot, left wing. Ekholm shoots wide of the net, looking for a bounce. It's sent out in front. Backhand opportunity by Nugent Hopkins in tight, held out by Sheilov. Pettersson gets it out to center for Bluger in stride. He'll get it to the Oiler line and dump it in so the Canucks can complete their change with 24 seconds now remaining in the third period. Ekholm near corner in his own zone with the puck, taking time with it. Banks it left wing to the Canuck line. McDavid tips it in deep. 8 seconds left now. Ian Cole back to the puck. Protects it in the corner. Battling with Nugent Hopkins, tried to get it loose. It's tied up on the wall, and that's going to do it for the third period. A Barn burner tonight at Rogers Arena is not done. 60 minutes solves nothing, and Randeep overtime is coming up next.
That's right, and that third period, Edmonton scored through Connor McDavid. 15 shots for the Oilers, 2 for the Vancouver Canucks. They withstood a lot of pressure, and really home ice to play for here. Overtime's coming up, and this is going to be a big overtime period for both teams. The Edmonton Oilers are desperate. The Canucks are going to have to match that desperation to hold home ice.
It's 3-3 after 60 minutes. So the Canucks and Oilers, for the first time in this series, will settle this game tonight in overtime. But it's time now for Canucks Central at the intermission with Satyar Shah, Vic Nazar, and Brett Festerling.
This is Canucks Central at the intermission on the official home of the Canucks, Sportsnet 650 and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Canucks win a face-off of the Oilers zone. Hoglander left corner, protecting it for Ekholm, centers in front. McKayev, top of the crease, had it tipped away from him by Bouchard. Susie tried to step up on Hyman, lost the puck. McDavid's got a breakaway. In alone on Shelovs, he scores! Connor McDavid ties the game at 3 as he got away after Susie tried to step up and lay ahead, and it's a 3-all tie. The Oilers claw back again.
Connor McDavid finally gets his goal, tied the game at 3. We're off to overtime. Game 2 of round 2's Stanley Cup playoff matchup between your Vancouver Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers, all tied up at 3 through regulation. It's Satyar Shah, Brett Festerling, and Vic Nazar. And as always, get your thoughts into our Dunbar Lumber text inbox, 650-650. It's a game where that Draisaitl, Hyman, McDavid trio has really been a force, and they've grown into the game more and more as each period has gone on. In the third, absolutely dominant from that line, had a number of shifts. They spent the entire time in the Canucks end and really tilted the ice in their favor. And the thing here is, guys, when you're out against McDavid, Draisaitl, every play you make, you have to put a lot of consideration into it. And those plays at the blue line, plays in the neutral zone, the 50-50s, if you're committing, you got to get the puck, and that's what the Canucks weren't able to do. And the next thing you know, McDavid's getting a break going the other way.
Just easier to shade on the side of caution. Hronek had a play in the second period at the offensive blue line as well, a puck that he definitely would have got. And you could see him as he backed up, he kind of shrugged his hands. He's like, oh, I could have got that. And 97 and 29 are on the ice. You just have to start retreating.
Yeah.
And nothing happened. You neutralize the play either at your defensive blue line or later on a dump-in or something like that. And you look at that play, especially when you have a lead. I understand chasing a goal.
Yeah.
When you have a lead, I know it's difficult. It's still Connor McDavid coming at you, but at least the support is coming. And in that situation, McDavid never had to slow down. McKayev tried. He didn't really close the gap, didn't lose space, but you just got to keep him in front of you and let the cavalry catch up.
Yeah, Susie, he has a, I don't know who he has lined up. He has somebody lined up there at the blue line. He goes for the hit, right? And then
it was Hyman, yeah.
Hyman, yeah. Hyman does a good job. He's a horse. He just kind of rolls off of it. But Myers makes that commitment to go, and then it's just off to the races for Connor McDavid. And Myers tries to get back to his feet, but it's just he's too fast. So unfortunate break there, but you know what? With all the chances they had for one goal for that line for the period, it was okay.
It was okay. And, you know, as the period went on, they really started tilting the ice in their favor. They had a number of scoring chances, especially in net front. And Artur Shilovs came up with a couple of big saves and holding his ground. And, you know, he's been strong here tonight. They've had some grade A opportunities. The Edmonton Oilers have. And Artur Shilovs, he's been up to the task tonight.
Yeah, for a 3-goal night, right? It's a McDavid breakaway. That's a tough reality. It's Draisaitl on a power play. That's a tough reality.
And then the low-high play after turnover where Ekholm's coming down the pipe.
Yeah, it's I've got no complaints about his game, right? We talked about was that a shaky performance in Game 1. He's looked far more comfortable tonight, and it goes with his MO, right? And even just think about the terror that is the third period in this environment, 1-goal lead, and actually even in a tie game, like he was big down the stretch.
Yeah, he was calm, but he seemed to find pucks and freeze opportunities. There was kind of 50-50s where he was aggressive, got covered pucks, took whistles. He was probably pretty conservative in some of the whistles when guys were coming in, but I thought he played pretty phenomenal for the third period with all the pucks coming at them.
Canucks have fought their way back into the face-off department right now. It's 50-50, as we talked about at the second. It was 46% after 2.
It just felt like, though, in the third, you're right, the Canucks won a bunch of face-offs, but it seemed like they lost a lot in their own zone, especially later in the period where Edmonton was getting pressure after pressure, keeping the puck in the Canucks zone. They couldn't win some face-offs, and that led to a 4 or 5 minute sequence where they barely got out of their own zone, Brett.
Yeah, they were just losing wall battles, and then you could see that kind of they're just started getting gassed, right? And they got in that cycle where you just get the line, try to get it deep,
and you just
change, and then you're just taking barrage after barrage, and you don't feel like you're chasing the game. So they just never really got. There was a kind of a 3-4 minute sequence there around the 10-minute mark where they got a little momentum back. Garland had a couple breaks. Some actually good play from Joshua and Garland to get a little bit of momentum back. But all in all, they just more wall battles, a little more north. They're trying to control play coming back to the D, and I think it's just not working. Edmonton's too fast, and Canucks look a little too gassed.
The big thing is, and of course, you got to win the battles in your own zone. You want to alleviate some pressure, connect with some passes in the neutral zone and the offensive zone. It's not as if they haven't gotten to those areas, and it's not as if passes aren't available. Just mishandling passes, and the execution waned in a great deal as this game has trickled on, and you start hitting on those just to keep some offensive zone time. It's their own self-made issues that have created some zone time for the Oilers.
Yeah, there was multiple times in that 4-minute sequence where the Canucks actually started to get some momentum, where they missed clear-cut passes to the point, and then they're having to go back and do the whole thing again.
Lindholm on a slot pass, Hronek on a point, right? It's all these little plays where instead of zone time, you're now regrouping, and here comes some fresh Oilers out, and it's always McDavid that ends up coming out, right? And so suddenly, if you can just keep the Derek Ryan line in their own end, whoever it is, you got to take advantage of those moments, because at some point, McDavid's coming out so far in regulation. It's 26 minutes and 23 seconds, which I believe puts him pretty high as highest of all time in regulation playoff games.
Yeah, he's playing a lot, man. The guy's playing a ton of ice time, and he's been out there against JT Miller quite a bit. And that matchup in the first game, it was kind of a 5-on-5, was pretty even, which, hey, you'll take even if you're going up against Connor McDavid. This game, that McDavid line, now they have Draisaitl. It's a lot more formidable than, obviously, it being Hyman with McDavid and Janmark through stretches of the first game. So they have loaded up their top line. They're getting hemmed in a lot. Any consideration towards maybe not having JT's line have the full brunt of the matchup here, or should they continue doing the same thing?
Well, the final 8 minutes, they went Lotto line.
Yeah.
And after the goal, you can see the shift chart. It's Miller, Besser, Pedersen to go up against, and so they went power for power. And you wondered what moments would they choose. Would it be chasing a goal? They've chosen this moment to say, if McDavid's going to play 27 minutes, we're going to have to power up as well.
Yeah, I don't mind that play. I think it's going to be a lot of conditioning here. See who was gassed, bumps and bruises. It's been a physical. It's not. I don't want to say dirty, but very physical game. So there just might be guys that are a little more gassed. So go with Lotto when you can. If not, go with the guys you think are fresh enough to take that challenge on.
I will say this has been the most entertaining game of the playoffs so far for Vancouver, right? And if you want to talk about moments when the series has started, that second period, we talked to Dakota Joshua after one, right? You can feel that hate kind of rising, and after the scrums in the second, and now you really feel the tension in the building.
Well, and I mean, there's a lot of tension between certain players on the ice too. Zadorov and Evander Kane.
Oh yeah.
Zadorov challenged Evander Kane, who decided not to fight earlier in the third period, and every single whistle, every time those guys are out there, they're jawing, officials getting in between them. Those two guys specifically, they've really grown the hate on for one another.
There was a great moment in the third period. Puck is ribbing around in the Oilers' offensive zone, and Zadorov's not going to get there, but he can see Evander Kane, and he's just waiting. And Dakota Joshua cut it off and gets a hit on Kane. You can just see Zadorov be like, all right, I got to go to 2 a fuck now. But he wanted to put a lick on him.
Yeah, there's some hate brewing. And you go back to Zadorov's goal going by. He's giving Kane a shot at the bench, all of it. So it's going to be fun to see how that evolves.
A lot of reaction on our Dunbar Lumber text inbox, 650-650. KG says, full credit to the Canucks for staying in this game despite the officiating. Let's get her done. Go Canucks, go. That's KG texting in. And this one here says, from Mike and West Van, allow me to add to the chorus of people saying the refereeing has been atrocious tonight. Wow, McDavid escaping 68 minutes of penalties that should have been called on him alone. Mike from West Van, and we have countless other texts coming in about the officiating. They pretty much swallowed their whistles in the third period. They didn't call anything.
Slew foot.
And that's the thing. There's been a couple. There was one, we didn't talk about this in the second, but Derek Ryan, 2 hands chop between the legs on Niels Höglander. Usually those end up with suspensions, right? Like, it's not a spear, but it's not too far off, right? You know what I mean? Like,
cup check.
With cup check, and those ones usually get fined or suspended, right?
Yeah,
so
they do.
That's one the officials didn't, they called it, but they called Höglander an interference as well. But that's Slewfoot. Do you think we'll hear about that after the game?
I would imagine so, because shortly thereafter is the goal.
Yeah.
So, it's clear as day to me. Similar to the elbow that we talked about from Nurse behind the net in first period on Pettersson. Looks like a Slewfoot, and this is after as well. Hughes has already taken a high stick. At what point are you protecting a star player in the league as well?
Yeah.
That's a big miss.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens here in overtime. Do they get a call, or do the officials swallow their whistles in overtime? Brandon and Poco says Zadorov was probably asking Kane if he had bet against his team. So jokes for 60 coming in there. Brandon Polk also says big saves from the Latvian Ken Dryden, Arthur Shilov. So, of course, a lot of big saves late for him. We have a couple minutes here. Who do we have to score in overtime?
Oh, man.
Pick one for each team.
Oh, I only pick one because I'm not a coward.
Just pick one. Just pick one.
You guys go first.
All right, just pick one. I'll go with Elias Pettersson in overtime.
Besser.
Oh, man, he doesn't have a shot attempt. I was going to say JT Miller.
JT. All right, this one here says Miller from Hughes and Best. Book it. Get your thoughts into our text inbox. I go Miller. You're going JT. You got?
Besser.
All right.
Just picking one?
Just picking one.
Stay hot.
We're just picking one. That's all we're doing.
Massive pick.
Yeah, fantastic stuff here. And for overtime, one thing to keep an eye on here, guys, is the deployment. We saw Niels Höglander and Lafferty pretty much get buried in the third period. Both played under 10 minutes. The D pairs are going to run those guys out. Do they shorten the bench up front, especially in that first overtime?
I guess I'm curious how Rick Tocchet plays it. Like, this is an interesting moment here.
Because look at the shift chart that you mentioned in the back half of that third. A lot of guys were getting passed over and then kind of out of rhythm. Does the coach go back to running his 4 lines?
Yeah.
I guess it depends, right? Like, if you're looking at it as this might go on overtime or 2, you need to have guys involved. But at the same time, one opportunity can finish the game for you.
Lafferty got 2 shifts in the final 10 minutes. Höglander's last shift came with 11:34 to go, and PDG got 1 shift in the final 10 minutes. So a bit of an indication.
They went 3 lines. They went 9 forwards at the end.
Yeah, I think they're going to stick with 3 until they need some gas.
Yeah.
So it really depends how much that McDavid line's able to keep Vancouver and really exhaust them.
Now, the thing that has happened a few times, and we'll see if the Canucks take advantage of it, Edmonton has been so aggressive with trying to get pucks in and really pressuring in. There's a lot of plays to be made going out the other way. The Canucks just missed connecting on a few. Is that something they can take advantage of in OT?
Yeah, 100%. They had multiple times where either Joshua or Petey or Garland had 2 or 3 where they're kind of half break, 2-on-1, 2-on-2s with guys going in the net. They need to take advantage of that.
Absolutely. Any final word here, Vic, before we send it to the guys?
Just on the usage of the Oilers forwards, 4 guys under 10 minutes. So curious if those guys get out there as well.
Yeah, really curious to see. Keep your thoughts coming into our Dunbar Lumber text inbox, 650-650. It's Satyar Shah, Bick Nazar, and Brett Fesserling. We'll be back for the postgame show or the next overtime intermission, depending on what happens here. 3-3 between the Vancouver Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers. The fans in this building have been tremendous here tonight, and we're going to send it over to our play-by-play team, Brendan Batchelor and Randeep Janda. They have your overtime call here between the Canucks and Oilers in Game 2. Gentlemen?
Thanks very much, Sat. And yes, we're going to overtime. The first time in this building this season that we've seen playoff overtime. Of course, the Canucks were victorious in the extra period in Nashville. Elias Lindholm scoring a big game winner to give the Canucks a 3-1 series lead in Game 4, if I'm not mistaken. And the teams are back onto the ice. And we'll get overtime underway momentarily, Randy.
You'd expect to start off overtime. Both coaches probably going to shorten the bench a little bit. You want your big dogs out there to strike quickly, but the conundrum here for any coach is the longer this game goes, you're going to have to send out players that maybe don't have the defensive trust as fatigue starts to set in. And we'll see if we get there at this point, but this is a situation now where your stars have brought you to this point. At the beginning of overtime, you're going to run with those guys.
Leon Draisaitl's played 25 minutes and 5 seconds. Connor McDavid, 26 minutes, 23 seconds. Evan Bouchard, 27 minutes, 46 seconds. Quinn Hughes is the high ice time man on the Canucks, 25:07. And you imagine those guys are still going to get their minutes here in overtime. And I would imagine that both coaches will be monitoring how their top players look, see what their energy levels are like, and especially if this goes long, the likelihood of it being an unlikely hero grows and grows.
For sure it does, as some of those players get more ice time as the game develops. But we start looking at the game-winning goals leaders of both teams during the regular season. 7 goals for Bouchard, Draisaitl, and Hyman. For the Canucks, Elias Pettersson had 10 game-winning goals. JT Miller had 9. So a lot of familiar characters coming up big for both teams.
Only 2 players on the Canucks have scored a playoff overtime goal in their careers. Elias Lindholm, of course, in the first round, and Ian Cole. Meanwhile, for the Oilers, Zach Hyman has an overtime goal. Adam Henrique has 2 in the playoffs. Corey Perry has 5. Connor McDavid has 1. Canucks in blue are going to go from left to right. In the first overtime period, the Oilers in white will skate from right to left, and no surprise, Miller, Besser, Suter, Hughes, and Hronek against Draisaitl, McDavid, Hyman, Ekholm, and Bouchard to get us underway in the first overtime period. And Miller wins the draw. Canucks will possess the puck. Hughes throws it up the left wing. Suter tips it in deep. And Ekholm's back to it behind his own net. Hit by Miller into the end boards. Puck is cleared down the ice. A slow roller will be heavy enough for icing. And just 16 seconds into overtime, Canucks have an offensive zone faceoff coming up.
And JT Miller setting the tone early in overtime. Drills Matthias Ekholm in the right corner. And that type of hit, it's going to set a tone, but it's also a cumulative hit where you feel that as this game goes on. Once the fatigue starts to set in, those hits you've thrown from the first period, you're going to start feeling those in the first overtime, and if this game goes later as well.
Lindholm line out for the offensive zone draw against the McDavid line. Face off, right circle in the Edmonton end. Scrambled draw, controlled by the Oilers, and Ekholm lifts it off the boards to center. Hronek chips it back into the Oiler end, delayed offside, gives Ekholm time to go rink wide for Bouchard. Now to the left wing for Draisaitl. Into the Vancouver zone, pushed to the boards by Lindholm, took a shot from wide on the boards, and Shilov's grabbed and held it with his glove hand.
And a pretty cautious start to this overtime, as both teams not being overly aggressive, trying to just get pucks through to the net, set up some zone time, and you don't want to pinch too much to start off, as you want to play a cautious game. You don't want to make that mistake. Both teams, I think we can get used to saying this, Batch, it's going to be a bit of a chess match now.
Nugent Hopkins line out against the Lindholm line in the Vancouver zone. Face off near circle, won by Lindholm to Ian Cole behind his own net for Nikita Zadorov. Zadorov missed it. Evander Kane gets it far side, dumps it behind the Vancouver net. Ian Cole funnels it up the near side. Garland clears it past Nugent Hopkins. Kane holds in at the point. For Warren Fogle on the boards, he's pinned to the wall by Ian Cole. Now Elias Lindholm does get it out to center, only as far as Darnell Nurse. Rink wide to Cody Ceci, right side. Clears it behind the Vancouver net. Ian Cole's got it near boards. Chased down by Warren Fogle. Nugent Hopkins in there too. Fogle trying to drive to the front of the goal. Played it through the crease to the far side. Connor Garland comes up with it. He'll bank it to center into the Oiler end, and Nurse clears it the other way. Lindholm at the red line. Bothered by Fogle. Drops it back to Nikita Zadorov. Right wing for Garland with room into the Oiler end. Hoaglander's driving the goal. Garland sends it to the net. Skinner kicked it out off the pad to Fogle. And the Oilers turn back to center. Fogle tried to pass McLeod, missed it on the near side. Myers chops it ahead for Pettersson. Right wing across the attacking line for Hoaglander on the boards. Try to go back to Pettersson. McLeod blocked the pass. They'll battle for it along the wall, and now Kane gets it free high off the glass to center. Myers back to it in his own zone. Taking time with the puck. Right wing to Pettersson. Tips it into the Edmonton zone. Cleared by Kulak back down the ice. Not heavy enough for icing, and Myers takes it behind his own goal. Tyler Myers around the glass. Left wing to center. Mikheyev missed it. It hops over his stick. This will be icing against the Canucks. Certainly a ponderous start to overtime. 1:57 in. Canucks and Oilers tied at 3 in game 2.
Not the frantic pace we saw in the second or third period, and what you're seeing is a lot of off the glass and out. You're also seeing situations where the Canucks and both teams are trying to ice the puck. They don't want to make that fatal mistake that could end up in the back of their net.
Pettersson, Mikheyev, and DiGiuseppe caught on the ice with Soucy and Myers, and here's the McDavid line. Oilers win the draw. Ekholm holds in left point. Rims it around to the right wing side for Draisaitl. Tied up by Soucy on the boards. It squirts free middle of the ice for Mikheyev. He gets it out to center, and DiGiuseppe dumps it into the Oiler end. Canucks will change. Here's the Miller line. Stretch pass up the left wing for Hyman. Into the Vancouver zone. Stops top of the circle. Drops to Draisaitl. Driving wide. Forced behind the net by Hronek. Draisaitl out the right wing side. To the line for Bouchard. Heavy shot. Missed the net. It deflects behind the goal. Hyman trying to dig it out front. Tied up by Hronek. It rolls behind the net, and Quinn Hughes has it near side. Hughes lifts it out to center. Shooter right wing at the red line. Tried to dump it in. It was blocked by Ekholm. Miller in to help out. Pokes it free, and here's Besser after it on the forecheck. Battling with Bouchard right corner. Besser pushes him to the boards. Ekholm back to help out. Puck squirts free to the line. Hronek holds in off escape, but lost it to Draisaitl. And here come the Oilers. Draisaitl, right wing for Hyman. Into the Vancouver end. Pushed to the boards by Hughes. Draisaitl gets it back. Bumped on the wall by Hughes. Puck is caught up in skates. Hyman pinning it to the boards. Draisaitl trying to dig it free. Hronek has his stick tied up by Hyman. Can't get it loose. And now it comes to Draisaitl. Rink wide left point for Brett Kulak. Long shot stopped and held by Artur Shilovs. Derek Ryan going to the net. Cleared out by Philip Hronek. 3:07 into overtime. Canucks and Oilers tied at 3 in game 2.
An excellent defending by Quinn Hughes on that entire shift. First, Zach Hyman tries a chance along the right-hand side. Trying to do a bit of a wraparound, and a good stick by Quinn Hughes. After that, being aggressive along the wall against Leon Draisaitl. Bit of a cross-check, but just playing the body. And at the end there, an excellent box out on Derek Ryan to make sure that the Edmonton forward could not search for a rebound.
Nugent Hopkins and Lindholm on the face-off to the right of Shilovs in the Vancouver zone. Lindholm wins it to Ian Cole behind his net. For Nikita Zadorov, far side, played it up the boards. Dakota Joshua missed it, but it comes out to center anyway. Joshua wins a battle with Nugent Hopkins. Trying to clear it to the Oiler line. Knocked down by Evander Kane. Joshua gets it ahead anyway. To Garland left wing. Tight angle backhander. Held out up high by Skinner. And Nugent Hopkins can't clear the zone. Joshua holds in. Top of the point. Passes right side. Garland had it knocked away by Kulak. And Ryan Nugent Hopkins settles it in his own zone for the Oilers. Nugent Hopkins to center for Fogle. Right wing into the Vancouver end. On the forecheck. He's tied up by Bluger behind the net. Puck bounces out in front of the goal, but Zadorov gets it free. Joshua can't clear. Nurse left point. Tries a long wrist shot. Bounced off a body in front of Evander Kane with a tight angle. Wrister out of the left corner. Hit the outside of the net, and Teddy Bluger plays it off the wall to center. Garland left wing to the red line. Fights through a check of Derek Ryan. Dumps it in, and Bluger's after it on the forecheck. Bluger to the inboards. Pinned to the wall by Darnell Nurse. Di Giuseppe and Lafferty in to help out. Puck is caught up in skates deep in the Oilers zone. Bluger still being tied up by Nurse. Left wing corner. Lafferty gets it free. Pushed to the wall by Ceci. Ryan digs it loose. For Janmark, he plays it out to center only as far as Hronek, who retreats to his own line and goes far boards for Quinn Hughes. Canucks are changing. Hughes to center. Stripped of the puck by Holloway. Jumping off the bench. He gets it free to Janmark. Left wing to the Vancouver line. Hughes recovers. Plays it free to Lafferty. Sends it into the Edmonton zone. Miller's after it. Right wing of the forecheck. Drops into the slot. Pettersson going to the net. Was tied up by Ekholm on the back check. Couldn't get a shot away. Now McLeod at his own blue line. Winds into the Vancouver end left wing. Ryan McLeod near boards. Driving wide on Myers. Forced to the corner. McLeod tried to cycle down low. It came back to Ekholm at the line. He dumps it left corner for Holloway. Dylan Holloway to Matthias Ekholm. Right point, Evan Bouchard. Long shot stopped by Shilovs. Tried to grab it with his glove. It bounced to the corner, and Holloway gets it. Top of the right circle. Cycles on the wall for Janmark. Canucks hemmed in their own end. Janmark gets it free. Right wing for McLeod. Back to the line for Ekholm. Pounds it off the boards in deep. Soucy breaks up the cycle. Leaves behind his own goal for Tyler Myers. And he'll pass near side for Pettersson. Canucks breaking out to center. Pettersson right wing to the red line. Dumps it in. Vancouver can change. Oilers will begin a change too, and there's Zach Hyman onto the ice with Draisaitl and McDavid. And here's McDavid with speed. Right wing to the Vancouver line for Draisaitl. On the boards, bottom of the circle. Back to Bouchard to the point. Carries down the wall, throws it to the goal. He scores! Evan Bouchard fired it to the net. And I think it bounced off one of the Canucks in front and in. And the Oilers, who never led in this hockey game tonight, have tied the series at 1-1.
Unfortunately for the Canucks, it was off of Ian Cole's stick into his own net, trying to cut off the pass as it was coming in from the right-hand side from Evan Bouchard. And Ian Cole right in no man's land, trying to get his stick on it. Unfortunately for him, it deflects past Artur Shilovs, and that's the game winner as the Edmonton Oilers take this one 4-3.
Tough one to take for the Canucks. The Oilers were chasing this game throughout. Canucks held on in the third period with Edmonton ramping up the pressure. And it's a tough bounce in front of the goal that ends up behind Artur Shilovs. And now this series gets interesting. Tied at 1, shifting back to Edmonton on Sunday, where the Oilers will have last change, and they'll try to expose some of the Canucks' depth, you would imagine, with their top players on the ice if they can.
And that's just looking at that goal as well. Ian Cole trying to cut off that pass, and Hyman's not all that close to the net. It would have probably gone past and wide. Unfortunately for Ian Cole, he redirects it into the middle of his own net. This is a situation now. You go to Edmonton, the Oilers got to split in Vancouver. You got to get that in Edmonton as well.
Was an entertaining game tonight, though, and we talked about it off air in the intermissions. We've seen much more high-event hockey in these 2 games against the Oilers as opposed to the Nashville series. I don't know if that's exactly what Rick Tocchet would want from his team, but the Canucks have matched the Oilers, and they've matched them pretty well. You know, obviously you're going to have shifts in your own zone where you're hemmed in by the McDavid line, and they've, for the most part, weathered that storm at 5-on-5, and disappointing that in such a tight game it's an unfortunate bounce that ends it.
In game 2, there was more of that Edmonton Oilers top line. Once they loaded up with Leon Draisaitl alongside Zach Hyman and Connor McDavid, how can you handle that line? How much is sitting back too much? And that's not intentional. It's just that line is very good. So how do you balance it out? You got to win the other matchups. You got to win the other lines when they're on the ice. And for Vancouver, they had an element of that, no doubt. But as this game went on, the Oilers grew in confidence, and that line grew in confidence. And in the end, they're on the ice when the goal is scored, the game winner as well.
Evan Bouchard will be credited with the winner as he bounces it off Ian Cole and into the back of the net at 5:38 of overtime. The time of the goal is brought to you by Crow, your trusted advisors for 55 years. Learn more at crowmackay.ca. Once again, the final score tonight at Rogers Arena, the Oilers 4 and the Canucks 3 in overtime. The second round best-of-7 series is tied at a game apiece. For Randeep Janda, this is Brendan Batchelor in Vancouver. The Canucks Central Postgame Show starts right now.
This is the Canucks Central Postgame Show.
Miller gets it free to Zadorov with a burst of speed to the Oiler line. Left wing, Zadorov in the corner, tight angle shot, he scores! Susie tried to step up on Hyman, lost the puck. McDavid's got a breakaway. In alone on Sheloves, he scores! Connor McDavid ties the game at 3 as he got away after Susie tried to step up and lay ahead, and it's a 3-all tie.
With instant reaction from the players and coaches.
McDavid with speed, right lane to the Vancouver line for Draisaitl. On the boards, bottom of the circle, back to Bouchard to the point. Carries down the wall, throws it to the goal, he scores! Evan Bouchard fired it to the net. And I think it bounced off one of the Canucks in front and in. And the Oilers, who never led in this hockey game tonight, have tied the series at 1-1.
Have your say on the official home of the Canucks, Sportsnet 650 and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Canucks lose in overtime 4-3 against the Oilers. The series is now tied at 1 game apiece in the second round matchup between the Canucks and Oilers. And this is the Canucks Central Postgame Show presented by the number 5 Orange on the home of your Canucks, Sportsnet 650 and the Sportsnet Radio Network. Satyar Shah with Bick Nazar and Brett Festerling. We are going to welcome in Randeep Janda into the conversation in just a moment. Get your thoughts in to our Dunbar Lumber text inbox 650-650. You can also grab a phone line 604-280-0650 or toll free 1-888-275 0650. And the Edmonton Oilers really pushed the pace in the third period. They tied the game, really took over the game for the most part, had a lot of chances late. The Canucks did well to get to overtime.
You've been listening to NHL Play-by-Play on SiriusXM. Head over to SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, for the best hockey talk.
Year tenure with the team. It was his first coaching job in the NHL after he replaced Mike Babcock on November 20th, 2019. Prior to taking over as the coach of the Maple Leafs, Keefe was coach of their American Hockey League affiliate, the Toronto Marlies, for 5 seasons and guided them to their first Calder Cup championship in 2018. Former NHL player and current NHL analyst Mike Johnson stopped by SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, Channel 91, to discuss the news.
For a guy who I think has the winningness, has the highest winning percentage of all time in the regular season for any coach who's coached 300 or more games. All-time, Gord. So he's had a good team, but he's also done a pretty good job and had a lot of success in the regular season. But even Sheldon Keefe said, we haven't gotten the results. And I think I don't know if it was a subconscious slip of the tongue that raised eyebrows after they lost out when he said teams play the Toronto Maple Leafs and they play to make the Leafs beat themselves. He didn't say when they play us, they try to make us beat ourselves. He was talking about the Leafs in sort of the third person, not about that he was part of the team anymore. And then, I think he's a smart guy. He understands the market. He understands the industry, the profession. As you mentioned, there's been so much coach turnover in the last couple of years that it's amazing that anyone gets to 5 years behind a bench. And so he probably would be bitterly disappointed, but not entirely stunned. The easiest and most obvious first step if you're looking to make sort of significant changes to a team is the coach. Because other than money, it doesn't cost you anything. It's hard to trade players. It's hard to sort that out. It's not hard to fire and hire coaches. Not a surprise. I think there are moments in the playoffs where, over the years, where he probably and has said that he wished he had done better or maybe done something differently, that he was growing and learning like the team was growing and learning. But at this point, after 5 years and 5 relatively disappointing playoffs, the time to learn and grow is gone. You just sort of have to do it. And they didn't do it.
That was former NHL player and current NHL analyst Mike Johnson on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. If you want to hear more, make sure to check out NHL Network Radio on SiriusXM Channel 91.
Follow every second of the action on NHL Network Radio. From behind the bench to every play on the ice. If it's hockey, it's on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Saturday, May the 11th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, 7 p.m., New York Rangers take on the Carolina Hurricanes. Hurricanes feed on SiriusXM channels 91 Internet 925, Rangers on Internet 939. 10 p.m., Colorado Avalanche take on the Dallas Stars. Avalanche on SiriusXM channels 91 Internet 927, Stars on Internet 929. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Saturday, May the 11th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, 7 p.m., New York Rangers take on the Carolina Hurricanes. Hurricanes feed on SiriusXM channels 91 Internet 925, Rangers on Internet 939. 10 p.m., Colorado Avalanche take on the Dallas Stars. Avalanche on SiriusXM channels 91 Internet 927, Stars on Internet 929. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Saturday, May the 11th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, 7 p.m., New York Rangers take on the Carolina Hurricanes. Hurricanes feed on SiriusXM channels 91 Internet 925, Rangers on Internet 939. 10 p.m., Colorado Avalanche take on the Dallas Stars. Avalanche on SiriusXM channels 91 Internet 927, Stars on Internet 929. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Saturday, May the 11th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, 7 p.m., New York Rangers take on the Carolina Hurricanes. Hurricanes feed on SiriusXM channels 91 Internet 925, Rangers on Internet 939. 10 p.m., Colorado Avalanche take on the Dallas Stars. Avalanche on SiriusXM channels 91 Internet 927, Stars on Internet 929.
SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio is the place for expert advice, strategy, and information from the best fantasy sports analysis to win your league. Plus, hear pick-by-pick coverage of live drafts and interviews with top players, coaches, and team executives on SiriusXM 87.
NHL Network Radio's Jay Kahn joined Matt Gurney from the Daily Edition on Canada Talks, Channel 167, to discuss the news of Sheldon Keefe's firing as head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs, as well as the future for the team's roster.
I think if you followed the team for a long time, you felt like he was
most likely coaching for his job in that first round series. Where I will give him a lot of credit is actually getting the Leafs back into that series, right? With a lot of factors working against him. And I did feel like he improved as a head coach in the playoffs over the few years. The first couple instances of him making the postseason, I felt like he got out coached. Now he was able to win a round of playoff hockey last year. Ultimately, they only get one more win in the second round. They lose pretty quickly to the Panthers. But I felt like the adjustments he made in that series against Boston were impressive to me, especially with Nylander out early in the series, Matthews out late in the series, a goaltending injury thrown in there as well. And I felt like he was able to drop a game plan that his players bought into in games 5, 6, and 7, and they ultimately fall one goal short of winning in that round. And I don't know if that would have helped him keep his job. A second round loss, we could be having the same conversation just a couple weeks later. But you're right. I think it's important to separate Sheldon Keefe as the human being, the person, and Sheldon Keefe as the head coach. We all saw that video and the outpour of people that have either covered him, have worked for him over the years. Just a lot of messages yesterday saying how great of a person he was and how everyone's rooting for him in whatever his next job might be. So that tells me that he is a great person and someone that you want to root for, but you have to separate that from the head coach. And this is just the reality of the business, Matt, is you don't get the job done with a team that views themselves as a contender over a 4 or 5 year period. You're going to be shown the door. And he referenced that in his video.
We also got big roster changes coming up, and I think part of that is obviously the speculation, Jake, about the core four. Matthews and Nylander stay, Tavares stays, and then you try to re-sign him on a hometown discount deal. Marner's got to go.
No, I think he kind of hit the nail on the head there, and I feel like that's the sentiment from a lot of Leaf fans right now, and it's really the only thing that makes sense to me, because look, Matthews is the best goal scorer in the league. He's not going anywhere. He's been holding up his end of the bargain. He's a Selke Trophy candidate as the best, one of the best two-way forwards in the National Hockey League this year. So Nylander, you just gave the big deal. It was unfortunate how his playoffs started, right? Dealing with the migraine issues and not being 100%, but he was able to work his way back into the lineup, and he had his mark on these playoffs. I mean, he scores the two big goals to send it to Game 7. And I think Nylander and Matthews are sort of your new core moving forward. Those are your two forwards, at least, that you're now building this roster around. And I think, you know, in a perfect world, yes, Marner does go and you find a spot for him. Some difficult conversations, right? Because he's got another year left on that deal. I don't think there's a world where the Leafs are giving him another contract past that. He does hold some cards here with a no movement clause as well. But if the Leafs go to him and say, you know what, we're not giving you a contract at the end of this. So if you want to play hardball, if you want to play your year out on a team that doesn't want you, you're free to do that. But we could find you a landing spot. We could find you a good spot to go play next year if you're willing to accept that. So that's conversation that the Leafs are going to have with Marner. And I'm with you on John Tavares as well. I actually think Tavares is still playing some decent hockey. He's just not an $11 million player. We can all see that, but I still think he can be effective.
Get the latest news, opinion, and analysis from MMA to boxing and the professional wrestling world 24/7. SiriusXM Fight Nation. SiriusXM 156 and the SXM app.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Saturday, May the 11th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, 7 p.m., New York Rangers take on the Carolina Hurricanes. Hurricanes feed on SiriusXM channels 91 Internet 925, Rangers on Internet 939.